Pair Racing Live. Ooh, that might be a little loud. That one might be a little loud. Hey! What is going on, everybody? Bear Racing Live. Hey. I always say it's been a while, and that's because it's always true. Last stream was way back before big money season. So, since then, I've tried to improve the streams a little bit. I have, let me see if I can do this without hurting everything, a brand new microphone that hopefully sounds a lot better than using this old headset. This old headset. So please, if something does sound a little off, let me know. First time really using this live, so you know, I could adjust something on the fly. How is everybody doing on this Saturday night? I'm gonna turn down the mic volume a little bit here. I see myself peaking. How is everybody? How is everybody? Something different I'm gonna try to do today is, well, you might remember some of the old live streams I used to do. We used to watch like Super DIRTcar Series highlights, weekly race recaps from like Dirt Track Digest and stuff like that. Tonight I want to mix it up a little bit. I want to throw it back to a time before I was born. Sorry if that hurts you guys. I know some of you guys are a little older. I found some good old races on YouTube that we can watch. The 1989 modified feature from Super Dirt Week and a Super DIRTcar Series, or they just called it Dirt back then, race from Rolling Wheels Speedway, a track that is no longer open right now. So it's going to be cool to see some racing that I'm not familiar with. Like I said, I'm young, I'm sorry. But, you know, to see the old glory days relive how things used to be for you guys. And just have, you know, some good old Saturday night racing here in early January 2026. First stream of the year. As always, I got the chat over to the side here if you guys want to. Got some dust falling in front of my face. If you guys want to chat, leave some comments, ask questions, you know, it's open, anybody can. And then I got the track champions from last year scrolling down on the bottom. And it's going to be a good one tonight. It's going to be a good one to break up the monotony and the dreadfulness of mid-winter when we're all yeah, when we're all stuck inside. As always, I got a drink. We got the time. We got the beer. Coors Banquet. Kids. Jamie Club Wago, thanks for tuning in, buddy. We definitely got to put together another stream or video, something again soon. That was fun to do last time. I like to try to put together like a, oh god, a stream or a video of just like going through our predictions from big money season, and maybe like come up with some sort of like points standings or something like that, just to see how we actually did. I don't know about you, but I actually did guess some of the winners. I got Parego with the Eastern States 100 right. I believe I got the one from Outlaw right. I want to say I did Maresca, and then I might have done Mohawk as well. I got a couple winners in that. That was cool. Yeah, so I'll give everybody a couple more minutes to come on in. So I get to see both tracks. I'm not young. Look, I'm not calling everybody old. I just know every time I'm at a track and people come up to say hi to me, they always say it's good to see a fresh young face at around the dirt track. And I always tell them you're an idiot. But, you know, yeah. It's, if you guys have been around the channel for long enough, you know I always say, like, I regret missing out on these tracks. Also tracks like Reading, Danbury, Islip. There's another one I'm missing. Mokatech. Just tracks like that I just, you know, I never got the chance to go to, so I started up the vlog channel to, you know, try to immortalize and encapsulate what those tracks were actually like going to. So Rolling Wheels, it's not torn down yet. Rolling Wheels is still there. It's just not open anymore. In Syracuse, yeah, that's gone. Can't be too optimistic about that one. So again, if the audio does sound a bit off, I got a new microphone. Let me know. I can try to adjust things. I did some recordings with the microphone throughout the week, and in those recordings, everything sounded right, but, you know, when it's live, things can be a bit touch and go here. It's also cool, because, like, if I cough now, I don't have to mute my mic. I can just, like, come over here and, like, you know, be out of the way a little bit. Although I think my brother did some things with the settings, so if I'm far away, it still sounds like I'm close up. I don't know, man. I'm a mechanical engineer. All this computer shit is well beyond me, man. I never been able to really figure it out. And if you do hear some crackling in the microphone, when I was setting it up, I found out one of my ports in my computer actually broke on me, so I have no idea how to fix that. So I'm kind of going through a workaround, a different cable, one that's kind of older, going through a port that's not really set up for it. Whatever. All right. So I thought quite a bit actually about what order I want to do these two races in, because Super Dirt Week's obviously the bigger one. But I thought it'd be better to kind of do it more chronologically. So we'll start out with the Super Dirt Week race at Syracuse, and then we'll run over to Rolling Wheels after that. Both races are an hour to an hour and a half, so it's going to be a longish stream tonight. Some good old feature racing, though, so hopefully it's entertaining enough. I'm excited to watch these, though. I really am. See all the different car types, all the different manufacturers, some of the old drivers that have, you know, legacies today, but at the time we were still building up their names. If you guys have any favorite drivers you see, you know, say it in the chat, whatever. So, all right, so let me, I hope everything works, man. Let me kill the background music. Okay. And then let's roll over to this screen. Can you guys hear everything?
The American Sports Cavalcade.
Can you guys hear? Is that CBS?
A panorama of speed,
TNN?
color, drama, and excitement.
Bump up the audio a little bit.
The American Sports Cavalcade.
Okay. I'm going to assume everybody can hear the video. I'm also going to assume everybody can see the video.
Mention Syracuse, New York to any serious sports fan, and immediately.
And I did do some testing earlier before I chose these races. We should be fine on copyright. Thank you, Jamie.
And in football. But
if YouTube does kind of freak out a little bit and start like trying to take down the stream or something, you know, we'll obviously have to skip whatever that race is. Maybe I'll pause for 5-10 minutes, go a little bit further into the race to see maybe that helps it.
$500,000 in prize money will have been presented in front of over 125,000 fans,
I'm just here to watch some racing.
35,000 of my new friends. Now they wait all year long for this one event.
All right, so
today, but enthusiasm is high.
1989 Super Dirt Week, Eckerd 300. Is it Eckerd? Nope, it's Miller High Life. Kind of feel bad I'm drinking a Coors
Steve,
now.
I'll tell you what, the folks up there in the grandstands are going to see something today. 188 laps.
So, if you guys are in the chat and able to chat, let me know if you actually made it to this race, or remember it at all, or if you're like me and a child, an infant.
All afternoon long, then fell back a little bit with some strategy problems, but you did take home that
cool to see
$10,000
actually
that
racing.
goes down to the guy that leads.
Oh, this is gonna be cool,
laps.
man.
Will that affect your strategy?
I'm proud
today?
of this idea.
Well, if we're running in a position to take that $10,000 laps, we're certainly going to go for it, because $10,000 in your pocket is easy to take. But we're not going to jeopardize the race for that lap this year. You know, we're going to try and win the race.
So the race will fall down to a lot of strategy, I would imagine.
Okay.
Have you set any kind of early race strategy for pit stops?
Well, we want to try and come in early before most of the fast cars come in, so I don't have to deal with passing them. If I can get in early enough each time and keep the fast cars behind me, it should make a difference in the end.
Well, we'll sure be watching the best of luck.
Thanks, Brock.
Doug Hoffman.
All right, I think everything looks right. Everything
Paul
should be good,
Page,
so I
who's
should
with
be
the
able to relax a
outside
little
front
bit
row
now.
starter.
It's born in
Well, Brock here on the outside of the front row
one.
with perhaps his best chance ever to win this race. Your best finish thus far has only been
Paul
a 6.
Page,
Jeff
all right.
You're really in a
I
good
didn't know he
position to get
covered
in that
this
first
stuff.
turn.
Well, hopefully we can get it right on the start and get around Hoffman right on the start. That's, you know, the best thing. Then go 188
That's cool.
laps.
During college and during the pandemic,
We're just
they
going to have
did
to play it by ear, see what happens.
some
Key
kart
problem today,
and
tires?
IRL
I don't think so
races
today.
from the late 90s.
You
Instead
know,
of watching
heavy
movies, I
rain
watched those. So,
last night, wet
Paul
track.
Page is
Cloud
like a hero
cover,
to me.
I think it's going to be no problem with tires today.
All right, Brock. Jeff Hoeksler is ready from the outside of the front row.
Starting the 7th spot is a man who won here in 1987, one of the finest drivers ever to run at Syracuse, Jimmy Horton. And Jimmy, weather, could it be a factor today or not? It's real chilly here.
Well, the coldness will help the tire wear, and, you know, you won't get as hot and sweaty in it, but, you know, we're just worried about the rain. As long as the rain stays up, I think, you know, it'll be a good race.
Strategy in terms of tire, we know you're probably going to have to make a couple of stops. Have you determined, or are you just going to play it by ear as far as the cautions go?
Well, we're just going to play it by ear when the cautions fall.
Yes, I remember
we're
Bob
planning
Jenkins.
on 2 stops, you know, 2 tire changes.
Actually, I think I remember Bob Jenkins just announcing
sit there and ride
watching
and stay
races
out of trouble.
live instead of
We'll
doing
be
some
watching you.
old,
Best of luck.
Okay,
archive
thank you.
watches.
And now let's go to Paul.
Well, Brock, back here in the 10th starting position is Kenny Brightbill, the defending champion of this race, in the very same car that you won in last year, but this isn't the car
that
you've
also
been
just
campaigning all
shows,
season.
from IndyCar.
Why are you in this
That
machine?
shows how big this
Well,
race
this car felt real comfortable last year, and
still
it's the best I
is.
felt on a mile.
It's definitely like
And every place
shrunk in
I only
terms of
took it one
national
other place
popularity.
besides here, and it really
but,
felt good. So I just figured I'd
I
come
mean, you
back
guys
with
know,
something that
Northeast
felt
Racing,
good
this
to me.
is
Now,
the
you've been
crown jewel
campaigning the
for us.
Taylor car most of the year. Is there a problem there?
No, there's no problem. It just worked out that I wanted to do my own deal here at Syracuse, and I'll go back running his car next week.
Of course, when you're a driver and owner, you can take home more money.
Also, going
Well, I
back
don't know
to
about
Jimmy
that.
Horton,
All right.
is
good
it
luck to you,
confirmed
Ken
that he's
Brightbill.
like
Brock?
retired now
Well, Paul,
fully?
starting
Because
in
I
the
don't remember
12th
seeing him
spot,
in a
one of the
single
craftiest
race
drivers
last
in the
year.
business, Barefoot Bob McCready from up in Watertown, New York, known to run real well here in this race. And Bob, I would imagine, based on a performance that you put on yesterday, just kind of snuck up on everybody. You got to feel pretty good about this race.
Yeah, we feel real good about it, but there's 15 guys here that can win this race, and it's just going to be real tough. After about 130 laps, then we're going to really get serious and start racing. So, you know, till then, it's just going to try to get in and out of the pits and not have any problem.
Bob, I know about this. Everybody's talking about this
try
$10,000
not to talk
that
over
is
the
up for the
interviews
100
here.
laps. Do you kind of let that go by and just look for that checkered flag at the end, or is there some strategy involved and kind of take that home too?
If things worked out well and looked like you had a shot at it, you go for it. But at this stage of the game, I don't think there's anybody here that's here to win this race will fool around with that bonus at the middle.
All right, well, the best of luck. We know you can do it.
Thank you, Brock.
Horton still has a
Bob
car all
McCready,
ready
one
to
of the
go,
real
just didn't get it
contenders here
out last
today.
year.
Paul?
Well, Brock,
that's
here's
crazy.
the other half of that Kenny Brightbill story. This is the #1 car. It belongs to Billy Taylor.
I'm sure we all,
Normally,
if we had a
Brightbill would be in the
modified ready to
cockpit.
race, we would
Instead
just
of
go.
face that we're more familiar with from the sprint cars, Dave Blaney. This
Dave
is a
Blaney,
special ride
all
for you
right.
for this race only?
Oh, yeah, I get to run a modified maybe once a year, and, you know, Billy was kind enough to give me a car to run.
That's cool.
What do you think of running here
I did
on the
not
dirt
know
in this kind
Blaney
of
raced
cars
this.
compared to your sprint cars?
Oh, you know, it's a lot
I
different.
knew he did some modified stuff here and there, but I didn't know he would be in this race.
It's just a different kind of race and a different
Specifically,
kind of attitude you got to go about it. But,
obviously,
you know,
Super
I enjoy
DIRTcar
it.
running out
you know,
in
I've been around it
Sharon
for a while, so it's not real strange
kept
to me.
the whole
So
family
Dave Blaney is
and
ready here on
modified
the
thing
starting
alive over
lineup
recent
as
years,
the
but
crowd is really getting
this I
excited.
didn't know
Let's
about.
go
This
a
is
little
cool.
further back.
In
Brock
'89,
Yates
so
once
this
again.
is
Well, Paul, I'm
right
way back here.
before he started
with the 30th
really
starter, but believe me, a man who has won here
blowing up
twice.
in sprint cars.
One of the craftiest drivers of them all.
I don't think he was
and
really
a
a sprint
terrific
car
competitor here at Syracuse. Has
namesake
won this
until
big
early
race
90s,
twice.
but I could be wrong
But
on that.
as I said earlier, he had horrible problems during qualifying. And Jack, 30th place isn't exactly an ideal place to start this deal.
No, it's really not. We've had problems all week, motor problems, chassis problems, but I feel pretty good right now, and it's going to be a survival kind of a thing, and hopefully we're there at the end.
You got 188 laps to kind of move up on these guys, so I would imagine you'll let the race settle down a little bit in the early going and then just kind of pick your way up, or will you make a big hard charge at the front?
Well, I'm going to let them sort themselves out and just try to pick a spot and where I feel comfortable running, and we'll just play it from there.
Okay, we'll be watching you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, Brock, the news for Jack Johnson is even worse than you told him. As we check the grid sheet, he's not starting 30th. He is clear back in 38th place.
I know. There are 25 rows of cars there. You know me in double numbers. I lost count walking back here, Steve. I apologize.
Actually, 49 cars are just about ready to start the richest dirt track race of them all, the Miller Highlight 300. This could be one we'll all remember.
This huge crowd at the Syracuse.
So obviously, this is an edited down TV broadcast version of this race. The actual videos are
in the United States. There you see Doug Hoffman, the pole sitter, Jeff Hetzler on the outside of the front row,
broadcast of
this pack of automobiles. And Steve Evans, I'll tell you what, this is without a doubt the most competitive field of race cars ever gathered here on this giant, tricky, very narrow Syracuse 1 mile dirt track.
Completely convincing myself of the lie that I also made up, that for the 50th anniversary of Super Dirt Week, the Outlaws were going to come back. Obviously, that didn't happen, but I'm like, it just makes sense.
Champions are here, and all of their fans have followed them from wherever they may live, and that accounts for over 30,000 people in the seats.
Right.
All right, pick your favorite.
Qualifying races run around the circuit called Dirt. That's drivers' independent racetracks all over the northeastern United States, now collected here. Series of qualifying races around these various half-mile dirt tracks, then some qualifying races here on the Moody Mile, finally leading to this collection of drivers. And as I said earlier, none better. Just a terrific field of cars and drivers, perfectly prepared, and most of these guys veterans of this mile racetrack.
Jamie, when did Club Wago start up at the
pace lap here just to bring engines up to temperature? And you know, Brock, it's interesting. There are contenders.
You were born in '89, I'm assuming 1990.
This field, not just up front. In just about any row, you can find a driver capable of winning if they can pass successfully.
Good example, row 23, Tommy Corellis, a real veteran. But way back in row 25, the big news, Alan Johnson, the brother of Danny Johnson, a former winner here. He didn't even qualify, had terrible problems. He ended up as a promoter's option in this race. By the way, Jack Johnson, who I said was starting at 30th, actually 38th, he is not related to the other Johnson boys. Earlier, Steve had a look at one of these
cars
very
don't look
exotic
that
automobiles.
much different than what we race now.
You may remember the last time we brought you dirt action from Syracuse. All
I know it's after the whole
the silhouette of an American Motors Gremlin from the
I expected
60s.
them to look a lot
That was
closer to
the easiest
this.
Detroit style body to build because it was flat on the sides and flat on the roof. Well, in the 1980s, the powers that be said, wait a minute, guys, let's make these cars look more like what Detroit builds today. Come up with something.
So you're born
well,
into
they
it
did
too.
all right. This is the 99 car of Dickie Larkin. It is a Chevrolet Lumina. You don't buy that, huh? Well, you ought to see some of the Thunderbirds that are running around here. Now, one of the problems in getting away from the Gremlin shape, it was a natural wedge, lots of downforce, and the low silhouette cars don't have that, so they lowered the interior wings, almost flattened them out, and channeled that air up to a spoiler almost straight up and down, much like a drag racing funny car. And something else they did as well, as far as managing that air, is they take some of it into the oil cooler as it passes by, and some more goes down to the rear brakes. Dickie Larkin has one of the best thought-out cars
stuff right here
in all of dirt track racing. Now, the body rule is this: 14 inches here and 14 inches here to get the driver out of the car in case of an emergency. So this car is obviously illegal. Oh, wait a minute. Velcro side panels. I told you these guys were innovative. And look at the care they take and the pride they take in this car. They don't have to chrome those hubs, but they do. They don't have to chrome these nerf
That's
bars,
how it started?
but they do. And they anodize and polish every bit of suspension
just like
possible.
a nickname from
they even
your
cover
last
the shock absorbers to protect them. During competition, they put Lexan plastic here and on the other wing, and a big piece of plexiglass over here to protect the paint. So anytime there's a Best Appearing Car Award, you can bet that Dickie Larkin from Massachusetts will win it.
Dickie will start 8th with that automobile. Beautiful, you say, in terms of detailing and craftsmanship. Styling, matter of personal taste, I'd say.
Awesome. Well, compared to the old Gremlins, they look more like Ferraris these days. And take a look as starter Paul Lupp gets the green flag ready as we get a shot out on the back straight where you can see how narrow this is, and look at the traffic jam.
About 3 cars wide. That's about all you try to get down here on this very narrow straightaway. The corners tighten up here at Syracuse. You can see very narrow bend. The front straightaway real wide as Hetzler and Hoffman lead them out down toward the green flag. We've got a green. We're racing.
All right, boys, here we go.
125 car, the man on the pole, very alert with the throttle down at the first hit of the green flag, and it'll be Hoffman leading them into turn number 1 for the first time today.
All right, as they string out here, this is always critical, these opening laps here at Syracuse, because you've got to navigate your way through very, very narrow corners on this big mile as the field strings out down the back straightaway. And I'll tell you what, Steve, what a sight. Now we're 3 and 4 wide on this narrow course.
And miraculously, it looks like, yes, we are going to have a clean first lap, and that's rare in 300 history.
It is indeed, as both Hoffman and Hetzler lead them down into turn number 1. Here's your race for 9th place. Former winner Brett Hearn in the 6th car goes by the number 99 car of Dickie Larkin.
And there's action up front for the 2nd position, the 74 car. Jeff Holzer, the white machine, trying to stave off 27J, Danny Johnson, and appears to have the torque out of the corners to do that.
But still, Steve, it's very difficult to pass here at Syracuse in these big, sweeping, narrow corners. About the only way you can get by anybody is at the end of these long straights where you can nose in underneath somebody as you see the car sweeping down, or Danny Johnson sweeping down into turn number 1.
And you try to stay down low, but not so low that you scrub up any speed you've accumulated. Now here's the fight for the 4th position, the 17 car, Richard Tobias, the bright blue car, and number 10, Lou Blaney, the father of Dave Blaney that we talked to in the open.
Right, and Richard Tobias, the son of the famous Dick Tobias, one of the finest sprint car drivers and modified drivers who died in a racing accident a number of years ago. And the family now building not only excellent chassis, but Richard Tobias moving up in the ranks as well among the modified drivers.
And I don't care what form of racing it is, it just gets into the family blood.
And you can really see all the different designs and the different body styles.
Sammy Rogers, he has moved up 6 places. Jack
you can see it a lot more than you can see
32nd spot and is closing on the 555 car of Ricky Smith, the white machine.
Well, everybody watching Jack Johnson, having won this event twice, got himself a big problem in qualifying, therefore didn't start any better than 38. But there's that orange and white automobile right in the center of your screen. Right in front of him is the blue and white triple nickel car of Ricky Smith up there in 31st spot. Johnson, of course, will have to wait as he comes down the front straightaway. Got to be patient as he weaves in front of Smith. Now, the 97 car of Steve Botcher is his next target. And again, though, Jack Johnson will have to be patient, riding around behind Botcher until he gets out onto the straightaway. Right up on Botcher's Nerf bar. Botcher gets a little sideways, and Johnson falls back ever so much. There you can see Johnson tucked right down inside that rail. Johnson, one of the real veterans in this business. He's going to get by him, I would imagine, Steve, but he'll bide his time.
Yeah, but the more you move up, the tougher the guy in front of you gets. And Johnson now has got the 97 car of Steve Botcher in front of him, the 78 machine of Rick Ware. Those have to be his next 2 targets.
All right, as we watch Johnson slowly working on Steve Botcher in that 97 and going a little bit to the outside. Botcher's putting up a good fight here. Right in front of him is Rick Ween in the 78 car, that white and orange automobile, and a clear track ahead. So if Jack Johnson can get by, he's got an open field for a while anyway. Back to the leaders. They're already in lap traffic, Steve.
It's going to be hard. There's not going to be a lot I can offer
in
these watch-alongs, because I don't know everybody's numbers and cars. Like, I don't have it all memorized.
Hoffman's bumper, or Nerf bar, as it were, as they come down through that mob of traffic on the front straightaway. This is where it's going to get mighty tricky. And any little bobble, don't forget, though, these cars have no ground effects whatsoever. Look at this. There is a move by Hetzler, and he will move in and take over first place in that number 74 automobile. So we got a lead change here. The 125 car, Doug Hoffman, the pole sitter, falls back into second. And in a mob of traffic, of course, it's early in the going, and he may very well have given way a little bit and just hanging in there for a while.
Well, now, Doug Hoffman, the 125 car, is trying to hang on to that second position.
We don't have a score book, so we don't know, we're not going to know what lap these guys are running. They make a point of it.
Danny Johnson at turn number 1 takes over the 2nd spot.
Danny Johnson, one of the really hot young runners in this kind of racing from Clifton Springs, New York, right behind Hessler as they head down into turn number 3.
And there's a driver with a lot of experience that's moving up. I'm talking about C.D. Colville, the number 61 car. He started cleared back in 28 and has moved up to 15. Can he keep that kind of progress up?
Well, he's got a long way to go here at Syracuse. 300 kilometers around this big mile. You're just in the opening stages of this fantastic automobile race. So a lot going on here at Syracuse.
That's right, and strategy really hasn't started to
Front
rear
stretch,
its
a lot
ugly head.
wider than the back stretch. Right, this is stuff I'm learning, stuff I'm picking up.
And move forward through the pack.
And just watch out for the Moody Mile because it's notorious for the kind of tricks it'll play.
For sure, here in Syracuse, Jeff Hetzler, the number 74 car, commands the lead. Doug Hoffman, the early leader, the 125 car, has slipped all the way back to the 5th position. Richard Tobias Jr., the 17 car and 6.
Looked like someone was blowing up there before they changed
car,
camera.
115 with Kenny
That could just be the quality.
Frank Cosby, the 44 car. Dickie Larkin wraps up the top 10 in the number 99 car. At least when I started talking about that, he was there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, that we've still got the leaders in position here. That's Hessler in the 74, the 27J of Danny Johnson right behind him. Those two automobiles broken away a little bit from the field now. The racetrack just spread out with automobiles all the way around the mile. But right now, those guys have broken through the lap cars and should settle down into a pretty good race right now, Steve.
And so far, this mile hasn't shown us as many moves because when guys like Danny Johnson,
look at young Danny Johnson,
as they have, and not punching the sheet metal, that means you've got a good racing service.
At least he's smiling in his photo. A lot of these guys didn't smile for the TV photo.
These are extremely professional drivers. Most of them make their living strictly as dirt racing drivers. DIRT, Dirt Independent Racetracks. And an acronym, I guess they probably wanted to call it dirt and then figured out the words later, don't you think?
That's what I would have done.
Okay, as we watch Jeff
absolutely,
Hessler
the dirt
and
acronym is not go.
Turn number 1. Rick Ween, Milford, New Jersey, stuffs it into the fence, and apparently he is out for the afternoon. At least the right rear tire is cut down. That may have been the cause of the accident. Started in 27th spot, out earlier here in the going. No apparent damage to the automobile, Steve. Doesn't look like anything too serious anyway. Ween is all right, as we've got some automobiles now into the pits.
And it's way too early for that. The 48 car, Dirk Adrians. He started 36 and moved all the way up to 23rd, but it looks like they're working on the left rear tire. And here comes Doug Hoffman, who had led this.
Not only that, Steve, he started on the pole.
Jamie, did they have
so he is in way
pit
too
road
early.
speed
There
limits
is his
on
crew.
this back then?
Gas cans ready. They'll top it up, and I'm sure that's not the problem. There must be trouble elsewhere in the automobile. Yes,
how you would
right
enforce
front
it,
tire. That is the change. These cars do not have knockoffs, so it's going to take a little time to make these tire changes. These guys normally run short track events, and like a lot of short track crews, are not too experienced in terms of the pit stop like we see in NASCAR competition.
You know, it looked like there was air in that tire. I wonder if he was more concerned maybe about the size of that tire.
Could be a stagger change, but anyway, Hoffman back out onto the racetrack, well back right now. Obviously disappointed that he was not able to just hang there with Danny Johnson.
And in the pits is the winner of the 86 race. This is Bob McCready. And we just saw Bob pointing at something, and I believe it was the right rear tire. But anyway, he's gassed and away. Now, we just saw some early pit stops there, and all of them had to do with tires in one way or another. Even though, as some of the drivers said at the top of the show, the racetrack is not going to be particularly hard on rubber because of the cool temperatures. Anyway, Paul Page is down in a sea of tires to tell us about them.
Racing on the dirt here at Syracuse, there are 3 different tire companies represented. McCreary, the Hoosier Tire, and of course the Goodyear Racing Eagle. Now, tires are absolutely critical here. They've come with several different compounds, but most of the racers have decided to use a nice hard compound, and that's because they've put some cinders into the track over the winter. The track's also used for horse racing, and because of that, it is now very, very abrasive. In fact, tire wear could be a key factor throughout the entire run today. Now, additionally, these cars run with stagger. That is to say that they'll make the circumference of the right rear tire maybe as much as 5 inches larger than the left rear. They do the same thing up on the front of the car, only the stagger difference there is only about 2¼ inches. Tires are so important here, as a matter of fact, that many of the teams that may be on Goodyear have also brought a little bit of everybody else's tire just in case.
Well, here comes Doug
That's
Hoffman
interesting
back in
too. I
again,
didn't realize.
Steve, and they're going to
Didn't
work
know they
on
ran
the left
Goodyears.
rear tire this time. And I'll tell you what, an
That's a
added
Hoosier.
complication.
Was there a tire war?
Everybody looking at the
Are people allowed to run
sky, it's
that?
starting to spit just a little bit of rain.
That's right, and that could change everybody's choice of tires. As Paul just explained, they may have some in the back they hadn't even considered, depending on the weather.
Well, you'll notice that these tires are treaded tires, even though this racetrack in the later stages, especially if it warms up, which it probably won't today, but sometimes this racetrack can almost become like asphalt. It gets almost black in the groove, and there you get to a point where you need a really almost an asphalt tire.
Now this is the crew of Doug Hoffman's machine, the 125 car, who led and then fell back and finally had to come into the pits. Checking out those tires. They've usually got a man on the crew that does nothing but inventory the tires and keep track of where they are and what they've still got left.
All right, there's your starter. The pace car still on the racetrack. He is signaling to that white flag. That means one lap to green. So the next time around here, as this giant field springs out, let's take a look one more time at the leaderboard. Jeff Hetzler leading it. Danny Johnson, Rich Urich started up near the front. Brett Hearn, always a contender, started ninth. He's now sitting in fourth. Kenny Tremont moved up a little bit into the sixth spot. Bright Bill, one of the real strong runners, in eighth now. Jimmy Horton falling back a little bit. So the field up front, shifting, moving back and forth all the time. But as we said earlier, still relatively early in the going as the pace car drops down onto the apron. Now, field all alone. Horton, Danny Johnson in the front row. They'll bring him down around. That is turn number 3, you see, coming off that narrow back straightaway. They'll start to get on the throttle just about now as they exit turn number 4. Green flag out. We're racing again.
Watch the 27J car, the orange machine. That's Danny Johnson. Can he get that lead away from Jeff Hetzler in the 74 car? Johnson giving it everything he's got. He may be a little too high.
Well, the restart here is a little bit different, Steve. The slow cars, lap cars, are on the inside in single file. Fast cars, single file on the outside. So Hetzler was able to move out and pull about a
lap
5
cars
or
are
6
not
car-like lead down into turn number 3 over Danny Johnson.
I guess this is well before they came up
blue
with the
number 10 car,
looking
that's
things.
Rich Urich. He's been so smooth and dependable. He's almost invisible, and he's running in the 3rd position, came from 5th.
Right, so he benefited a little bit by Doug Hoffman falling back with that tire problem. So, and speaking of Hoffman, he is sitting in the mob scene as they come down the front straightaway. He is well back there. There he goes, up high. That 125, that white number 125. That, of course, is Doug Hoffman, your pole sitter. And I don't think that car is working, Steve. He sure didn't want it out there against the fence.
No, I think that car is driving him instead of the other way around. The race for the 5th spot, the 115 car of Kenny Tremont, the 17 machine of Richard Tobias. That is the fight for the 5th position. Tremont is in it right now.
What is that rear design on
There's the blue
Tobias?
car of Richard Tobias, one of a racing family out of Pennsylvania, and he is probably, like most of the guys right now, Steve, just sitting there. Tremont sitting in the 5th spot. They're going to wait for this first flurry of pit stops.
And that one needs weight on the racing surface,
we're
but
going to see
it was
a bunch
turned
of
over
guys
all week
dash
with
into the
water
pits for
and
tire
packing.
changes and fuel, but tactics, I think, are going to probably stabilize for the time being until we get to that
I can't imagine there was a lot of tire wear on a track
Drivers
like
out there
this.
right now that would love to pit at this point, maybe a little
I mean,
bit
maybe
early.
a little bit. They're
Because
still kind of sideways through the
green, and
games,
I
but
don't blame them, because as sure as they'd come in,
if the
there'd
track
be a
rubbers
yellow
up, I'm
flag
sure
and
they
then
would
gets
slow down and not be as sideways through the
back in
corners.
Syracuse in the Miller High Line 300, the action is up front. Number
Maybe it'll
74 in the
be
white cover, the red number
reversed. The more it rubbers up, the more temperature will build up in the
Danny
tires.
Johnson, 27J. Johnson has worked his way through this pack in the
see
Miller
Jeff's
High
not
Line
smiling
300
in this picture.
from 18th to 2nd and challenging for number 1, Brock Yates.
What a
inside.
drive, and now Johnson
there.
down low, down the front straightaway. He is going to take the lead. Yes, the 27J, Danny Johnson, bobbles just a little bit as he backs it down into turn number 1. But look at this. Here comes the 6 car, Brett Hearn, one of the real contenders in this event, in for what is obviously an unscheduled stop.
He has a flat right rear tire, but it comes at a point in the race prop where it's not disastrous for him. At least we're deep enough where it maybe could have been a planned stop for some team.
Yeah, but even then, though, Steve, I'm sure that the crew was waiting for a yellow when everybody could get in all at once, and this is not a good thing. And now Paul Page is down with Joe Knopf, Jeff Hetzler's crew chief, to find out his problem.
Interesting to see that Hearn's car refills on the side. Hoffman's refill from the rear.
Yeah, it looks like we lost the power steering, so we're going to have to pop the hood and take a look at it. So I don't know what else. We'll just have to hang in there and see what happens.
It's just something you hope for and hope you might be able to repair then.
Well, hopefully maybe the belt popped off and it's still there. Maybe we can slip it back on. We're running to get another belt right now. But if we don't do it, he's just going to have to be a muscle man and see if we can hang in there.
Okay, there's a report. Good luck to you.
It's a long race.
Well, here's some good news for that man, Joe Knopf, and anybody else that wants to pit. Bring them on in, because here is a caution flag that has been brought out by 42P Pat Ward, who had a flat down in turn number 4. It's going to get real busy on pit road, Brock.
Tough break for Brad Hearn. He gets underway just as everybody else comes in. Remember, his stop came under green. Here come the leaders. Danny Johnson, 27J. Charging into his pit. Right behind him, Jeff Hetzler. And now, let's go down to Paul Page, who's in Danny Johnson's pit area.
And here with the yellow flag, both the 74 car of Holtzler and the leader, Danny Johnson, comes in for a stop. Holtzler way out of position, as his crew really had to go out about 15 feet away from the wall to be able to get to work on his car. It's a battle in the pits right now. Johnson, the leader, just behind this car of Holtzler. You can see they're going to go to work on Holtzler's car, trying to find out what's wrong with that power steering. But with the fuel can still attached and the hood off, they send him back into the action, trying to beat the field around. So Holtzler goes back out.
And apparently, Jeff has gone back out without the necessary power steering repairs. If you've ever had your street car's engine die and tried to steer a car with power steering, you have some idea what he's up against.
All right, this is Bob McCready back into pits for the second time today. They're going to make a change of the right rear tire, probably make some chassis adjustments. Oh, they're changing both rear tires. So McCready, one of the real favorites, is falling back even farther. That's the 61 car of C.D. Colville. Remember, he's had a good run so far today. This looks like a routine stop for him. No problems apparent on that automobile. So pit stops continue here. And here comes the 74 car of Hetzler again. Paul is there.
And here is Jeff Holtzler back into the pits. He's pounding on the top of his dash. Very concerned about the machine. They continue to go to work on the rear, and he gestures trying to get the crew over as they take a look now just under the console to try and find out what the problem continues to be with the power steering.
And Hetzler is frustrated not being able to communicate with his crewmen. They're not using radios on most of these teams, and he's just going to take it back out on the racetrack.
They're not
the
using
second stop for Bob McCready is a disastrous one. He is still in the pit area, and they are still apparently trying to get this car to suit the driver. They're doing some rear suspension work, trying to get the car loaded or weighted properly. In fact, to find out exactly what's going on, let's go to Brock Yates, who was with the crew chief on that team, Mike Hazlett.
What's the problem?
Bob says the car feels like something's broken in the back end, letting the back end shift forward and backwards. He thinks we're in trouble.
Couldn't find anything, though.
With a quick look, we didn't find anything, but he says we're in trouble.
You're probably going to find it back in again, I would imagine.
Yes, we are, yes.
A little question of that. If there's something seriously broken in the rear end of that automobile, McCready is not about to endanger himself and anybody else out on that racetrack. Yep, indeed. We'd look for him back into the pit.
Very experienced driver, and if he says something's wrong, you can be sure there is. Ray Bateman now leading it in the 0 car. Lou Blaney, both these guys did not stop, so there's a little bit of a distortion as far as the leaders are concerned. Here's Hoffman, Danny Johnson, Jimmy Horton. Johnson up in the 8th spot after a very quick pit stop, as did Doug Hoffman. So those are basically men that are contenders, even though they made a stop, but up front the guys didn't. So Hoffman and Danny Johnson still very much in contention here. In fact, in reality, they are the leaders because everybody in front of them has yet to make their first pit stop.
All right, they're coming out of turn 3 into 4, out of 4, and they get a green flag. The 0 car, Ray Bateman Jr. leads them down the front straightaway, and we have got trouble.
Oh, right away. As the field sweeps off turn number 4, a big jam up coming out onto the front straightaway. That is Tommy Corellis' number 57 up against the outside of the fence. The 38 car of Mike Perotti appeared to start it, but Jack Johnson's in it, C.D. Coble, Kenny Tremont, some of the front runners, or at least contenders, all jammed up against the outer fence as they came off turn number 4 on that restart, Steve.
And this is the kind of chain reaction crash that a lot of people, including yours truly, expected to see on the very first lap of this race, and instead all 49 cars ran it clean. Stay with us. We'll be back to further analyze this.
Here's one of the victims of that big crash down there in turn number 4 on the restart. Mike Perotti in the 38 automobile. You can see the substantially altered bodywork on the right side of the car. The hood disappeared in that as Mike very tentatively gets back underway. He's probably going to try to carry on, but that's a severely damaged race car. Although, Steve Evans, not quite as damaged as some of the other victims.
No, indeed. Let's slow down the video and have a look. Watch for the 4 car, Nat Quinn, in the background. Now there, you can see he got up and tagged the 38 white car of Mike Perotti, who spins and then gets into the wall, while the 4 car continues to become involved with more machines. The 61 car of C.D. Colville, 12A car of Jack Johnson, the 115 car of Kenny Tremont, 57 car of Tommy Corellis, the 20 car of Bruce Sire. Boy, it was a train wreck. Let's go to Paul Page, who's with the 115 car of Kenny Tremont. Paul?
Well, here, back behind the pit line, they're working on Kenny Tremont's car. He still sits in the car. Kenny, are you hoping to get back in?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're going to try and do the best.
What happened to you on the crash there? It looks like they were lined up badly.
They were it happened far in front of me. You know, the car got mixed up and we had no place to go.
All right, well, he's covered with dust and dirt. The side of his car is completely battered in. But the crew works on Kenny Tremont's machine with the hopes of getting him back into the fight.
Now let's go to Brock Yates with a Jack Johnson car, who had gotten up to 13.
Well, Steve, apparently Jack Johnson's crew thinks they can get him back into the race. They're working on the front end after that car took a stuffing up against the fence. Let me see if I can get a word with Jack. Jack, you reckon you can get this thing back in the race?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the damage is up there. We're chasing a point, so we're going to try to get back out there.
Jack, you got just pinched up against the fence, I would imagine, on that restart.
Yeah, I got pinched there. The cars were all sliding around. I tried to get through outside against the wall, and somebody just tapped me, and I clipped the wall in my right front. I couldn't get through.
We were watching you. You seem to be moving up pretty good.
I was just trying to run steady. I wasn't running as hard as I could. It was raining. It was a little dangerous out there. I was just trying to hold my own.
Well, great job. I'm sorry this happened to you. We'll be watching it. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Jack Johnson
it sounds like everybody
try
was
to have
okay
a go at it.
But definitely a lot.
And that's good news for the many Johnson fans here at Syracuse. You know, that kind of a crash is not unusual in modified racing on a restart or the start of the race even. But I think the rain, as Jack said, contributed heavily to this one. So many cars involved. No one could steer through this mess.
Well, there you see the 115 of Tremont heading down toward the inside fence, while Jack Johnson's car goes south toward the outside fence. And that little cluster of automobiles, everybody pretty well beat up in it. The rest of the field kind of beating their way through. So fortunately, we've seen some even bigger ones in restarts like this, Steve. But right now, Ray Bateman continues to hold on to it. But notice Danny Johnson now starting to move a little bit in the 27J. He has already made his pit stop and is now apparently ready to move back into the lead.
Well, whatever may happen, the driver of the 0 car, Ray Bateman Jr., can always tell his friends and family that he led the richest dirt race of them all, the Miller High Life 300 in Syracuse. All right, Brock, they're picking up speed and headed for a restart.
There you see the pace car down on the apron off the racetrack as Bateman brings him down through turn number 3, heading out through turn 4 out of the main straight. Let's see if everybody can get through it this time.
Well, I tell you, the fans are on their feet with their fingers crossed. They don't need a crash. They need good, solid racing right now, and that's what they're going to get.
The 44.
That was a cool shot right there.
Frank Causey moves into the lead on that
Finally able to understand what it's like watching a race from the
Ray
stands.
Bateman Jr. in the number 0. He is starting to fall back, but look at Causey in that yellow automobile has broken free from the field, showing some real strength there.
And you know, we're getting close to lap 100. The leader picks up a bonus of $10,000.
look at Kazi, but right behind him, that 27J car of Danny Johnson has broken free of the pack as well. So we're going to see a race for the big bucks here at the 100th lap.
You know, and that's interesting. That explains why Kazi and Bateman coming to the pits right now didn't pit on that last yellow. They were thinking about that 10 grand, not winning the overall event.
Absolutely right. But right now, a tough break for Bateman. He is in to make a tire change on the left rear, probably the right rear as well. So the gamble did not pay off for Ray Bateman, unfortunately.
No, he was out of rubber. As soon as he stood on that thing and applied any kind of power to it, it was uncontrollable. But he took the gamble that Kazi took. And the bad part of Bateman, but Kazi is out there. Maybe he's going to be $10,000 richer here in a minute if his tires will stand up.
Well, there goes Bateman back underway, but his hopes for that big 10 grand payoff have disappeared when his tires went away. Not this man, no. The 99th lap, Kazi, the 44 car, Danny Johnson, the 27J, knows exactly what this deal is. Here it is. Kazi and Johnson will now enter the 100th lap. One of those two cars will probably lead it, and the guy leading the 100th lap is the big winner, the payoff, $10,000. Here comes Kazi under the wire, right behind him Johnson. 1 mile to go for $10,000. Lap car in front of Kazi. A little technical question here. Johnson really
Johnson's looking.
Traffic. Kazi, Johnson right on his left rear wheel. Kazi gets by him. Down in turn number 3, that long back straightaway. Danny Johnson, Kazi in his sights. Both cars tucked down inside that inside rail as they come off turn number 4. Kazi's got good power, Steve. He's going to lead it down here. A 10 grand payoff for the man from Wind Gap, Pennsylvania.
Is that really the crowd noise? They weren't pumping anything in. That was a loud crowd for halfway.
But no, he fought tenaciously to hang on. Paul is in his pits with his crew chief, Gary Klein.
And the atmosphere at this race is just different.
Well, the 100 laps and the $10,000.
It's not better, it's not worse, it's just different.
Still studying the race. It looks like you're out for a win overall.
Well, we got to still make one more stop for gas and tires. It's going to be cutting it close. We need a caution soon.
Got to feel good about the 10 grand, though.
Yeah, we needed that.
That'll help out.
Yeah, that'll help the tire bill.
Well, I know you want to get back and watch the car. Good luck with the whole thing.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Well, suddenly the hopes of this crew out of Pennsylvania just soar as the 44 automobile of Frank Kazi takes off the first payday in a long race that lies ahead here at the Miller.
Again, we're under caution here at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York, at the Miller Highlight 300 for modified cars. This time, it was the 8 car of Mike Ritchie, who was dropping oil, was black flagged in. They want to take a good look at the racetrack. Lou Blaney in the 10 car has taken this opportunity to bring his machine into the pits. Brock is with a man who is out of the race, a man who led it.
It also showed you had a good fight for the lead at halfway without
Jeff,
the need
it's got to be a very disappointing
for
moment for you. Ran so well. Seemed to have a really good position in as far as just staying with the leaders. What happened to the car?
There's a caution right now.
We lost the power steering while I was leading, and maintained the lead for a while. I dropped back to second when Danny Johnson passed me, but we lost the steering. It's internal. We pulled in the pit. We thought we could throw another belt on it if that's what it was, but it wasn't. It's something internal, so we just had to ride it out as long as we could until I got rubber-armed enough to drop out.
The race car these cars are heavy. They're 2,500-pound race cars, and they must be a real horse without power steering in them.
Yeah, I got a hard time right now even moving, so, you know, it's a lot of weight. It's a lot of race car to handle when you lose your power steering.
Okay, Jeff Essler finished after his power steering just went away on him, Steve, and he just ran out of arm power, as he said.
And the front end geometry is set up for power steering. It just won't work without it. As a very strong young man found out, Jeff Essler. All right, the field is under caution after a flurry of pit stops while we were away. Billy Pouch now, the leader. Kazi is in second. C.D. Colville, the 61 car, in third, followed by Johnson and Wilson. That's the top 5 here at Syracuse. Now take a look at this. Alan Johnson started dead last, 49th in the 14J car. Well, he's up to 7th. And Dave Blaney in the number 1 car, the sprint car star, has come from 22nd to 9th in this modified contest.
All right, your leader, Billy Pouch, the New Jersey star, has had kind of middling luck in this race. One of the top drivers in dirt. But a man that has never really been able to get this kind of oft-sought victory here. This, of course, is the crown jewel in the dirt schedule, and if you can win this one, not only is it a giant payday, but it's a big prestige factor too.
That's right, you're part of history. Billy Pouch's 76 car takes the green flag and leads him down. Behind him is the 44 car, Frank Kazi, the latest 10,000 error in motor racing.
He's counting his money, but he's looking after that almost $100,000 awaiting the winner. So it could be a great day for Frank Kazi as he tucks right in behind Billy Pouch.
Southern engine drivers.
Is really working right now, Steve.
Oh, absolutely. And at this point of the race, you get physical if you have to. If you got a NERPA guy to get through, well, desperate race drivers do desperate things.
Oh, look at this. Frank Kazi right on the Nerf bar. Billy Pouch drafting him as they head down into turn number 1. Falls back just a skosh as Pouch sideways.
You really can't use the whip here.
You really have to pitch it into turn 1 and then kind of tuck
I
it
fully
down
expected Kazi to just throw it in, try to get him on the high side, but that's just not this kind of track.
Now watch Pouch and Kazi both tuck right in against that inside rail. That's the pass line through turn number 3 as they sweep wide. And now, of course, that big front straightaway is about 3 blocks wide. Here, you can really move around on that one.
And there's so much rubber down there. The track's gotten so hard, you can actually hear it. Hear the tires squeal as they come into the turns under braking.
We got some potholes appearing in turns 1 and 2 as well. That could be trouble near the end of the race. Pouch has now moved out to maybe 3 car lengths as they head down one more lap into turn number 3. And Kazi, though, still hanging on, tenacious. Frank Kazi, he is up now. Boy, he's adrenaline's flowing after that payday on the 100th lap.
And on the straightaways, he kind of gets down near the rail, hoping that maybe the leader will slide high. And look who's out of the race, another former leader. Doug Hoffman crawls out of the 125 car. Paul Page is there.
So I guess this is where we're going to start seeing the attrition come in.
Boy, Doug, you've been fighting with that thing. You looked good at first, and then it just seemed to go bad for you.
Well, the car felt real good. You know, we got in lap traffic early in the race, and rain was hurting me a little bit. We got past there, but things were going real good yet. It still felt real competitive. The transmission started popping out of gear, and I tried to hold it in. You just can't drive with one hand up here.
But once it does that, you just naturally got to retire. How was the track out there with the on-again, off-again rain?
Well, it's starting to get better now that the rain stopped. It was starting to get fast. I just changed right rear tires, and the car felt real good. Now it started popping out of gear. It just wasn't our day.
Well, we're sorry to see you out so early. Doug Hoffman, out, done for the day.
Clearly disappointed. The man who started on the pole here, a great opportunity to win his first Miller High Life 300, but of course that non-cooperative gearbox that put him into the pits for the afternoon. And still the race goes on. Billy Pouch in that white 76 pokes his nose into some slower traffic with Frank Kazi right on his dirt bar. Well, let's see how Pouch handles. There's 3 or 4 slower cars up ahead of him. And right behind him, though, is Frank Kazi. Boy, I'll tell you what, Kazi just hasn't given an inch ever since this restart.
No, he hasn't, but he may have some fresh company to play with here. 27J, Danny Johnson, right there, takes 3rd place away from C.D. Colville in the 61 car. Johnson on the prowl.
Whoa, who's that?
Pouch gets wide into turn number 1. Pouch in the 76 car way up on the high side here. Then everybody blows past him. There is Kazi. He gets by him. Danny Johnson in the 27J gets by him. Almost by him. Pouch recovers a little bit. Yep, Johnson by him as well. So, a lead change here right away with a bobble by Billy Pouch in turn number 1.
I love that it's coming through the
just ahead of Danny Johnson. Well, you'll remember Rich Erwick in the 10 car that was having such great success. He is now a lap down. That's how quick reports.
Someone hit the wall.
And very much in the mind of Frank Kazi is upset. He started 15th. Right behind him, the man who started in 3rd, Danny Johnson. His sights are on the lead. We'll be right back at Syracuse on the Moody Mile. Stay with us.
New York. I'm Steve Evans along with Paul Page and Brock Yates, and we are thoroughly enjoying the Miller High Life 300 for dirt modified cars. I don't know how anybody could like this kind of competition. Look at the yellow and blue car moving around a bit. That's the leader, 44, Frank Kazi. 27J, Danny Johnson, dogging him.
He is. Danny Johnson, I think, a little bit surprised at the power that Frank is showing here. He started it way back in 15. Oh, Billy Pouch, the 76 car. He was a leader for a while. Remember, then he bobbled in turn number 1, got way up high, letting Kazi by. Now he is in the pits.
Well, that bobble on the part of Pouch might have been tires or suspension or something that we couldn't see, and I'm sure that's the reason that he is in the pits.
Right. As the
not changing
now gets underway,
oh.
taking the gas can, that 11-gallon NASCAR-style gas can hanging out of that quick fill on the left rear of the car. Now one of the dirt crewmen yanks it loose, and Billy Pouch gets underway, but loses some more precious seconds. Remember, too, Steve, that he stopped under green, and that's always a disaster.
And look how hot the tires are on McCready's car. They're still struggling with a broken rear end mount. It's allowing that entire differential, axle, wheels, and tires to move around, which creates more friction and tires you can fry eggs on.
Bob McCready clearly out of contention here as we watch the leader, Frank Kazi, the yellow 44, dogged by Danny Johnson in the 27J, moving around slower traffic. They're in the midst of it now. Lap traffic, a mob of it up ahead of Frank Kazi, now up on the outside, way on the outer rail as they get down into turn number 3. So he's going to work his way through. Let's see if Johnson is a master in short track competition, really good in this kind of cut and shoot competition.
Yeah, but Dyson through traffic
did not make up any clear advantage on Kazi.
Well, Danny Johnson, extremely popular with the fans for his aggressive but clean driving style. Pulls in his pits with his crew chief, Billy Colton.
Well, we've got one whale of a fight going here. Do you think Danny can catch him?
I think so. We can't let it all hang out right this second. We got to try to conserve our fuel a little bit. We're really playing it tight on the fuel mileage here.
Has he been talking to you at all?
Yes. Car feels real good. We're just trying to nurse it as far as we can. Trying to draft them when we can draft them on the straightaways and go from there.
Well, we're into the closing laps, and it looks like one tight race.
And one smart team using two-way communications to try to anticipate their problems and their fuel economy. Uh-oh, Billy Pouch,
Jamie, I have no idea.
76 car is out of this event. It's almost
this one just showed up in my recommended
Syracuse. Let's go to Brock.
It'd be a good idea to stream this
out of the race.
Bob McCready getting
then I found
out of the race car and
next.
Obviously disappointed.
I'm going into this one completely blind.
Apparently rear end problem just put it all away for you, huh?
I think we broke a brake line or wore the pads out.
Is that what it was? You came in earlier, real early in the race, and told the crew that something was weird in the rear end. Do you think this had anything to do with it?
Possibly, I don't know. We had a vibration after about 20 or 30 laps. I don't know if the spur gears or the rear end gears something, and it vibrated. It was still hanging in there, but didn't feel real good out there.
A great show as usual. Sorry you're out.
Thank you.
And some great racing continues. The 61 car with the day glow numbers on it. That's C.D. Colville. He's in third. Here comes 14J Alan Johnson. Remember, he started 49 dead last. Well, he's closing in, and right now may even take third position. He has taken the third position. The lap car they're dealing with there is 42B. That's Pat Ward. He's trying to stay out of the way, but it's tough to do.
Well, we got a real mopsy now with the two Johnson brothers now contending for second spot and chasing Frank Kazi, who still holds on to the lead. The big surprise so far in this race has been Frank Kazi with that yellow number 44 automobile.
Reminds me of Kazi's strategy at Eastern States this year when he didn't pit during the for the break and squeaked out a top 10 if not top 5.
This race in 1983 had some terrific seasons in the earlier part of the
strategy
decade.
got him up front and he was able to just stay up there.
The last couple of years, though, younger brother Danny has really had the better of it. He's had some fine seasons with that number 27 automobile, and his crew now highly optimistic that they can run down the 44 of Frank Kazi in the closing stages of this race. Now, as I mentioned, there is almost $100,000, very close to it, at stake here. In addition to that, a whole bunch of manufacturers' prizes. Steve is in the garage area with one of the special ones.
An up-and-coming team looking to improve their race car transportation, make it a real good bargain when the day is over, because there's going to be one on the market, because the winner of today's Miller High Life 300, in addition to a $7,000 diamond ring, over $40,000 in cash, gets this, a $60,000 Chevrolet diesel 70 series truck, all warmed up and ready to go, and for the race car itself, a 40-foot tandem trailer. Now you see why we call this the richest payday in dirt track racing.
Give away the
no
horn.
question. The folks loving it. They're watching these guys go at it, hammer and tongs all the way around this big mile racetrack. And there are your two leaders. Frank Kazi still being stalked by Danny Johnson in the 27J. Is he hanging back? Is he waiting for a few final laps to make his move? Or is Frank Kazi simply able to hold him off? And what about brother Alan Johnson back there in third, all the way up from 49th place?
You know, Danny this morning before the race started was feeling bad for his older sibling starting way in the back. He isn't feeling bad for him now. He wish it'd go away.
Yeah, right in his rear view mirror is Alan Johnson in the 14J, the 49th and last, the scratch starter in this field, and he is moving. The car is hooked up. Johnson, a real veteran, knows his way around this racetrack, and he is definitely going to be a factor in the closing laps.
This is the kind of charge from last to third that only a real veteran could do here at Syracuse. That's just the fact of the matter. You've really got to know this mile.
Right. That's exactly what Jack Johnson had hoped to do, and of course he got tangled up on that
Corey,
restart to put
absolutely.
him out. And Johnson, of course, made his way through there.
Thank
and it
you
may
for,
have been that he was
stopping
far
in.
enough back so that he was able to avoid that trouble when Jack got into trouble. But right now, it's Danny Johnson challenging for the lead here at Syracuse.
He looked to the inside. He wants it.
Kazi in the 44 car and Danny Johnson in 27J. That is Billy Colton Johnson's crewman, and he looks worried. Fuel is their big concern right now. For Brock Yates, I noticed the cars are starting to get twitchy.
Well, yeah, the racetrack is starting to break up, as it often does. We're getting some big potholes in the entrance of the corners here as we watch Kazi, Johnson, Blaney, and Colville in the top five. They are the only ones on the lead lap. These next five guys are one lap down and essentially out of contention unless we have some real surprises in the closing stages. So there is Kazi. Right behind him, the orange 27J, Danny Johnson. And right behind him, brother Allen. Just hanging back there, kind of like lurking about 3 car lengths back.
We're working lap 171 out of 188 or 300 kilometers. And there's no strategy now, Brock Yates. It's just get this job done. Get around the lap traffic like you just saw Danny Johnson did as quickly as possible. If they hold you up, the leader, Kazi, is going to get away from him.
Right. And Kazi is showing all kinds of strength here on these straightaways. And I think Danny Johnson, obviously, we don't know whether his tires are going away from him a little bit, whether he's concerned about fuel. Who's to know? You know, these race cars have been hammered for almost 180 miles around a very rough old racetrack, and you can never tell what's going away on them. Shock absorbers, suspension settings, the race cars, maybe oversteering, understeering, all kinds of weird stuff that these drivers are fighting right now, and it's now strictly a mono battle between basically Danny Johnson.
Looked like he was pushing him down the front straight.
Alan Johnson just sitting back there hoping, I think something's going to happen, because he doesn't seem to be able to move in on it.
Well, here's Danny Johnson trying to move in the red 27
Danny's car just looks so twitchy, especially coming out of turn 2 right there. I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be a good finish.
The tires, the racetrack is running. Who says it was supposed to be easy? This is automobile racing.
That's right. If it wasn't, as Joel Jack Hewitt once said, everybody up in the grandstands would be down here doing it with us.
That's right. And there is Johnson's crew still looking on. Nobody talking, nobody joking, nobody doing anything but just hoping there's enough fuel in his gas tank to finish this race.
Right. Down the back straightaway. Kazi resisting the pressure of a very aggressive and very talented young man right behind him, and not wavering a bit. Notice Kazi just tucks in right in close on that inside rail. Johnson seems to run a little bit wider, but coming off that fourth corner, he seems to be able to pull Danny Johnson down the front straight by about 3 or 4 car lengths.
All right, there are 15
Allen doesn't look like he's catching
this
his tune. I think we're running about the same pace.
300. Kazi out in front, Danny Johnson in that second spot. And you're right, Brock, in the turns, he can get up and almost give him a tap, but right there in the straightaways, he loses a car length or 2. And in third spot, Alan Johnson. Is what they say, the catbird seat? Is that what he's in?
I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you, he's got his eyes on his brother, and Alan Johnson has begun to move in a little bit. The fans sensing a charge to the finish here. Stand up as each time these threesome goes by that wide.
Oh, what happened? He lost a lot of ground.
Alan Johnson has moved into about 2
Danny
car
lost a
lengths
couple
behind his brother. So the pressure begins to mount. This young man, Sean Parker, one of
That shows exactly how much this race
sophomore in
means.
high school, travels with Johnson during the summer months. Boy, is he feeling the pressure as he just watches his teammate try to move in on Frank Cozzi, who has commanded this race for lap after lap, Steve.
Well, you know, and this kind of payday can make a real difference in a team's future, the kind of equipment they can afford. Maybe move into another series. These are the races you dream about winning, not just for prestige, but for a whole lot of money. Alan Johnson, the 14 J car in third, had a piece of bodywork fly up there, Brock.
Yeah, he did. In fact, you can see it flap as he comes down into turn number 3. And
it's
he gets
A-panel.
wide in that
It's
corner.
A-panel fault.
Lifts it inside left front wheel. That car is really
It's
getting
door
cranky
folded.
for Alan Johnson. Now, he, in fact, you can see the aerodynamics that have been affected on that right side of that automobile. So Johnson apparently encountering a really bad luck
That's
here
gonna
now.
handle
All right, Johnson in third. All eyes, though, on the leaders. The 27 car of Danny Johnson in second. Still applying all the pressure he can on Cozzi. Cozzi in the 24 car. First name Frank. Look at this. Johnson again in the turns. Right up on his back. But can't quite get around it. Boy, these cars are getting evil.
They are. Well, you've got almost 6 figures awaiting you in victory lane here. I'll tell you what, there are 3 very serious race drivers at work right now. One little bobble, one just slight miscue, and you've got.
Oh, he's inside.
Look at Johnson, it's up alongside.
Oh,
Cozzi.
no.
They spin and they crash in turn number 2.
That was a hard hit.
This is unbelievable. First and second place have collided. The crew of Danny Johnson can't believe what they're hearing on the radio. There is Cozzi, the 44 car. Danny Johnson, the 27 car. And what does this mean? It means the man who started dead last, the brother of Danny Johnson, is leading the Miller High Life 300. The crews are just done.
Unbelievable. Johnson tried to make his move. There's his crew chief, Billy Colton, understands the impact of what happened here. There is Cozzi. Apparently tried to get it started, back underway. Now Johnson tries to move, but they are out for sure. Here is what happened. Notice Johnson down low, coming off
Cozy
turn
come
number 2,
down?
tucks his right front wheel inside the left rear of Frank Cozzi, and they
Can't
both
tell.
come loose. Cozzi in the yellow 44 tries to save it. Johnson just heads directly for the
Alan
outside
Johnson
fence
was
and
just
crashes.
gifted this
Cozzi
race.
takes a big
Unbelievable.
360-degree spin and stalls.
And the field, of course, is under caution. If there's a parallel to other forms of motorsports, this would be a Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace incident in NASCAR racing, where one of the two tried to pass down low and the other one just didn't open the lineup any wider than it was. I don't think either driver could be considered at fault here. They may not agree with that analysis. In fact, let's go to Paul Page, who is in the Johnson pits, with crew chief Billy Colton.
And a
So I don't
great
know what the
fight
restart
going,
rules are
tangled
here,
out at
but
2. What are you hearing?
Lap cars are on
I
the
have
outside.
no idea beyond that.
What a
There's
terrible
only 5 cars on the
Yeah,
lead
it
lap.
is. We thought we had a real
They're
good
not
shot at it.
fully out of it.
All right.
At least
One of the
Cozy,
Johnson
he didn't
family
hit the
out.
wall that
Another
hard
still in
if
the
he did
fight.
at all.
All right, Billy Colton clearly disappointed, even shocked at this development in these late stages. There is your current leader, Alan
So the
Johnson,
leader doesn't
started
have-
last, now leading the
Maybe he
Miller
doesn't have a
High Life
door.
300 here in Syracuse.
Second
with
and third
only
was
a few
nowhere
laps remaining.
close to the
Looking
top.
at the jubilant crew of Alan Johnson, the leader in the 14 J car, who has come from
Too
dead
many
last.
get bulls,
Not
man.
quite so happy, the crew chief for Frank Cozzi. Brock's with him.
I'm with Gary Kleintop on Gary Cozzi's car, and you got to feel just horrible about this whole deal. He just did a super job all day, and apparently they got together coming off turn 2 and got both into the fence.
Well, that's what they say. I couldn't see what happened. You know, Danny's known to do that stuff, but those are the breaks of racing, and that's the way it goes. Kanai's car was really working great today, and it's just part of racing.
I know. You're very philosophical about it. You got to be a real disappointed. He did a super job all day
That's
long.
hard.
Well, we just brought our old car here. Just figured we'd do the best we could. And, you know, we gave it our best shot.
Well, you got a lot to be proud of. You did take home that 10 grand, is that correct?
Yeah, that makes it a little bit, but that's nothing compared to the race.
I understand. Well, we'll see you next year. I know you'll be back.
We'll try.
Just one lap of racing left when the green flag comes out. And on the head of the pack will be 14J Alan Johnson. We'll say it again. He
while
came
we're under
from
caution, I
dead
see a
last.
bunch of
How
people
about
coming in
Dave
and out,
Blaney
checking out
and
the
Lou
stream. Thank you
Blaney,
guys for
father and
stopping
son
by.
in the top 5. Blaney
Like I
and
said in the
CD
thumbnail,
Kogo,
I
maybe
wasn't
even
born
Randy
for this
Grunsky
race, so
still
this
had a
is all
chance at winning this.
new
But
stuff
in
for
one
me. I
lap,
have no
it's
idea
Dave
what
Blaney who has
happens.
the best chance.
I never
And right
made it
now,
out to
Paul
Syracuse, never had
is
the opportunity,
crew chief.
so this is all
Basically, it's
just
going to be a one-lap
a blind
run.
reaction,
What do you think?
basically.
Well, I just told him to get the tires hot, and we're going to
Feel
have
free
to
to jump
swirl
in
them
the
back and
chat,
forth and
say
get the
what you
tires hot, and
think.
it's
If you
going
have
to be
a
a
favorite
shootout. That's what we're
driver,
going to
if
do.
you were there,
We're
if
going
you're
for
like
it.
me,
If
like
anybody
me.
can do it, Dave can.
Yes, he can. He's done
Just
a
wanted
tremendous
to
job.
hang out, watch
He's a
some
dynamite
racing.
kid.
All right, good
Saturday
luck to
night,
you.
like we all do
Dave
during
Blaney
the
from
summer, the
22nd
spring,
now
the
in
fall,
second,
just
and
about
maybe
January
looking
10th.
at a win.
And Billy Taylor is car owner, cheering them on as we've got the cars almost at a dead stop on the back straightaway. There's the pace
Does this
car
end under
now
caution?
moving out to begin to up the speed.
It said
here.
last
There's Alan
lap.
Johnson in the 14J. He's got to be just so happy. Ken scratching his head. Had some real breaks, but drove brilliant, needless to say. Dave Blaney sitting back there in second. We've seen him run so well in the World of Outlaws over the years. There is the green flag on its way out. Dave Blaney trying to move in on Alan Johnson. Johnson gets a great start of 10, 12 car length lead.
So how many to go, man?
Turn number 1, Steve.
That is called putting them away on the start, Brock. Unless the wheels fall off of that 14J car, nobody is
Show
going to
the
stop
cars.
that man-possessed Alan Johnson. For generations, they'll remember that
this
he
a
came
one-lap
from the
shootout?
back to win on the Moody Mile in Syracuse. Johnson into turn number 3. Out of turn number 4. Half the distance of the front straightaway separates him from victory. The
All right,
checkered
AJ
flag is
Slideways.
out. Alan Johnson has done the impossible.
You're
He
immortalized.
has come from last position to win the Miller
DFL
High
to
300. We'll talk to Alan in a moment. The winning driver, the promoter's option, Alan Johnson, better get ready for a crush of fans when they're allowed to cross that racetrack to the winner's circle where he is now.
Wow, what a...
Dave Blaney finished
what a
second,
finish.
Colville third, Glenski fourth. In fact, the top 7 were all still on the lead lap. Right now, let's go to Brock Yates with the winner.
All right, Alan Johnson out of the car. Fans are loving it. What a show. All right. One happy young man here, I'll tell you what. As soon as he gets his helmet off here. All right, here we go. Yeah. What a show. Alan, give me the odds. Give me the odds this morning when you woke up as to where you, if you'd be here right now. Be honest with me.
I didn't even think I was going to be in the race.
I know, you weren't even. And when did you think you had a shot at it? I mean, halfway, were you moving up a little bit so you felt good about it?
Well, the car felt good ever since we got here. We always had bad qualifying, you know, we had to time early and we had trouble with it popping out of gear.
You had to feel a little bit of remorse for the old brother there when he hit the fence. What happened? What went through your mind then?
Well, he was driving a little hard, you know. He was real hungry for the win. I was underneath him there going into one, and he put me right down in a guardrail, and I was just trying to keep my nose
I mean,
clean.
yeah, 8 laps to go. They're going around a lap car. If you're going to make a move, I guess that's the time to do it. But...
Well, Brock, here's Dave Blaney. Started 22nd, moved up to second place. For a bit there, it looked like he had a real shot at the lead in this thing. Completely covered in Syracuse dirt. Boy, what a great fight at the end.
Well, I just can't thank Billy Taylor and his crew enough. You know, they got me a perfect race car today. I could drive anywhere I wanted to go, and you know, our pit strategy was real good. You know, they kept just, well, we didn't have to pass many. We passed them, you know, when they pulled in the pits, but yeah, I don't know. I just tried as hard as we could. We kind of got low on tire there at the end, and I just couldn't, just hanging on for second.
Well, last couple of laps, they were also saying that Johnson's left front was going flat. Could you tell it? Could you see a change?
Yeah, it was flat, but it wasn't hurting him real bad. Just getting in the corner a little bit, he was a little slow, but you know, he was still pretty good there.
All right, thank you, Paul. Let's go to Brock with the young man, Danny Johnson, who was within 1 lap of winning this race.
I'll tell you what, it was a great drive. I know you're disappointed, but you did what you had to do, and you just got pinched in the corner, I would imagine. That just put you up in the fence.
Yeah, he getting towards the end of the race there, and he drifted up a little bit. I tried to get underneath him. He come back down. We touched, and that's all it took.
Well, it's automobile racing. I know you're disappointed, but the race cars seem to be well hooked up, and I would imagine you were just sitting back there trying to get by him. You reckon we figured you could get by him when you had to.
Yeah, we're trying, but just an unfortunate incident.
Yeah. Well, we're sorry you're out. It was a great show anyway.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let's go to Paul for the other side of that story.
Frank, you got to be nursing what is a terrible disappointment. Fighting for the front there. What happened?
Well, Danny must have just got a little anxious there, and it just bumped me a little bit. It doesn't take much over there to get turned around, and once it starts to go, he can't hardly ever bring the car back there. It's the way it goes, I guess.
You wait all season to run an event like this. It's a very important one. What's the duty inside?
Well, I wait all my life because I've been coming here since so many years, and I got close, and I just kept thinking every lap, this is it, I just kept straight and kept thinking, man, this is going to be the one, and just like that, it just take it away. So, well, not so bad, the car didn't get crashed bad, and there's always next week, but, I give up a couple next weeks for this week.
Well, close this time, but it's a face that you're going to see in winner's circle here sooner or later at Syracuse.
I completely agree, Paul. Thanks for joining Paul Page, Brock Yates, and myself, Steve Evans, here in Syracuse.
The executive producer for American Sports Cavalcade is RVM Palish. Produced and directed by John B. Mullen.
Man,
Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond
That
Fee.
stinks, though. I really would have loved to see those two. Oh, hell.
For 7 seasons, Diamond P Sports, award-winning American Sports Cavalcade Series on TNN has covered a wider variety of motorsports than any other. And with more...
Wow. that was cool, though. Like I said at the start, I never got to really watch racing at Syracuse, so being able to see something like that, that's cool. It's a really cool look back into the past, a look back into what the Moody Mile was really like at its peak. The awesome crowd atmosphere, the great racing. I mean, we had side-by-side racing for the lead all the way till the end, even without the need of planned cautions, halfway breaks, all of that. Cool to see the old school style cars when the cookie cutters were just first time starting to take their shape. And you saw how much this race means. Even today, it still means that. But to win it on the original track, man, I'm sure that's. And he started dead last. Wow. All right, so we got a halftime break now. Let me I don't know where I was going with that. I said before, thank you guys for stopping in and out, checking out the stream. So that was the 89 modified feature from Super Dirt Week. Up next, we have a Dirt Series race from Rolling Wheels, 1997, 1 year before I was born. So this is still something I'm not familiar with, and obviously, Rolling Wheels isn't active anymore. Not torn down yet, from what I've seen, but hasn't been active for quite a while. So let's check out some racing feature there. Let me switch this over and see how easy this is going to be to do. I don't know the name of the race. Okay.
But the playgrounds and ball fields are alive with children celebrating their recently won freedom.
Let me know if the audio is okay on this.
In the small towns of this land. And the first
This is actually loud if I read it.
showing off America's colors. Tonight, those colors are on display at a speedway on the edge of such a small town as we celebrate America's freedom with wheel-to-wheel fireworks. Tonight, the sparks fly as the home of the brave races on dirt. It's the Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97, and it's live on Rush Hour.
All right, so hopefully audio's okay here, boys.
Born in the cornfields and lower 40s of rural America.
Let me pause this for a second. So if you're unfamiliar, Rush Hour on Dirt was an ESPN program that actually featured modified racing from up here in the Northeast. It aired on ESPN proper. and really helped showcase and make some of the drivers in our area household names, as well as some of the tracks and sponsors, of course. So 1997, let's jump into this. If anything sounds off, anything looks weird, please let me know. I'm not going to be offended, I promise.
The cornerstone of racing. The early barnstormers.
This one is about an hour and 15 minutes
to
to cap off
satisfy
on.
their thirst for speed. Now, their great-grandchildren carry the torch with the same spirit and thirst. 700 horsepower rips the earth. For 1 hour, nothing else matters. It'll raise the hair on the back of your neck. Rush Hour on Dirt.
I love that old Dirt logo.
We
are live at the Fast Track, Rolling Wheels Raceway Park in Elbridge, New York, for the Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97.
Oh, the series was sponsored by Skull,
Once again,
right?
everybody, I'm Doug Logan. Welcome to Rush Hour.
SKOAL,
Tonight, we visit one of the original
chewing tobacco.
founding member tracks in the dirt circuit, Rolling Wheels Raceway Park.
Not
Joining me
sponsoring
is
me,
Dirt
of
Motorsports
course.
racing analyst Gary
New York
Montgomery.
State
And Gary,
IRS,
tell
but
us a little bit about the history of
at the
Rolling
time,
Wheels.
Well, this was a labor of love for Bob Atrosio, who built the place in 1968. It opened in 1969. Then, as you said, one of the founding tracks, joining Dirt in 1976, joining Weed Sport in Canandaigua to form this Dirt. Then Central New York, then Dirt of New York, and now Dirt of the World.
Now, Rolling Wheels for a while ran weekly races and then moved to specials only.
Yeah, back in 1982,
They were specials
changed
only
the
back
format,
then.
and that has been what has made this place so very, very popular. Extra distance races for a whole lot of money on an off date, so all the heavy hitters from wherever they race on
I
a
did
weekend
not know that.
can make it here. And it has made for some very exciting races. There have been 334
So it's like modern
events run
Weed
here
Sport.
up till
Wow.
tonight. 56 drivers have won. Some of the biggest names in all of dirt motorsports, and all of motorsports for that matter, have run here and won here, as a matter of fact.
If you are going to make a name for yourself in the dirt circuit, you've got to do it right here at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. Take a look at the 3 winners we have in the previous races here this year: Alan Johnson, Brett Hearn, and Doug Hoffman. Well, we have
who
our
Alan
own
Johnson
heavy
is.
hitter down in the pits, Cowboy Paul Small. He's standing by with 2 drivers who dominated here at Rolling Wheels just last year.
Doug, if they were handing out MVP awards, these 2 drivers certainly would have gotten it for their performances on Rush Hour last year here at the
But
Rolling
yeah,
Wheels Raceway. The
picture
Hurricane
quality
Steve Payne
is
is
definitely
defending
not
race
as good
champion
as the
here.
last one
Steve,
we
you've
were
won 4
watching.
races here in the past. Is it still a thrill for you to win a race here?
Oh, yeah, it's a thrill anytime you can win a race anywhere, especially on national TV. And, you know, we got lucky and won it last year, and hopefully we'll do good tonight.
Now, Steve is a relative youngster in terms of dirt modified competition and winning those 4 races. Barefoot Bob McCready has won over 30 races here at the Rolling Wheels Raceway. Bob, how special is it to win at the Rolling Wheels Raceway, and how tough is it to win here?
Any race here is tough because it draws all the cream of the crop of the dirt circuit. So anything you win at Rolling Wheels is well earned.
You haven't won a race yet here this year, but you've come awfully close.
Well, it's like I say, it's tough here, and man, when you got a bunch of guys like Steve and Alan, Danny, Jack, this is a specials only format. They're all long races, and like I said, just the cream of the crop here. So, hey, we're trying.
Bob McCready and Steve Payne, they may be repeat winners from last year to carry over as the 4th different winner here this year at the Rolling Wheels Raceway.
Certainly 2 men to watch for tonight's Firecracker 97. You know, we have many new sponsors on Rush Hour this year, and one of them is lending its name to tonight's Skull Series race, Easy Care.
Rolf, what is Easy Care?
Easy Care is extended service contracts that we sell through car dealerships, just like our
I'm not
co-sponsor tonight,
sponsored.
Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury in Seneca Falls.
And what attracted the Easy Care company to a participation with dirt motorsports?
Well, dirt
You
brings
can
you a lot
sponsor
of
me,
things. You know, you're in the Northeast at 31 or 32 racetracks. You've got the great TV. And as far as I'm concerned, the best racing in the Northeast as far as practically America.
And I understand a former dirt modified driver is actually working with you now.
Yeah, we've got a great new agent, Mark Kenyon, who is a former dirt racer and had a dealership in New Jersey. He makes the whole total package for us, and we look for a long-lasting relationship with the dirt organization.
And, of course, that is the name of the game. Also the name of the game, the huge throngs on hand to enjoy the finest racing in the land. You know, our Rush Hour banner contest is stirring up a lot of excitement at all of our Rush Hour shows. Tonight's winner, Karen Cull.
And she is now eligible for the year-end grand prize of $1,000. We are live at the Fast Track Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. And our Skull Series races coming your way will continue after these messages. Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you
Not at all what I
by
expected the 90s
Easy
music to
Care
be.
extended service contracts, Top Oil engine treatment, Budweiser, the king of beers, Midstate Communications, Hoosier Racing
All right, boys, so
Tires,
tell me at this
Sunoco
1997,
A+
who was your
Mini
favorite driver? Who are you
and by
pulling for?
CarQuest Auto Parts. Welcome to the pros. CarQuest. We are live in the heart of the Finger Lakes in central New York. Rolling Wheels Raceway Park in Elbridge for the Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97 on Rush Hour. Doug Logan along with Gary Montgomery, and look at that formidable armada of racing machines set to take the green flag here this evening. I'll tell you, there's an air of excitement here at Rolling Wheels.
The Le
Gary.
Mans lineup.
It certainly is a beautiful evening, great night for racing, a great
Kenny
field of
Brightwell,
cars.
okay.
We had over 45 of them show up, and 30 have qualified for tonight's program.
Let's take a look at something
I have no
very,
idea
very
who's even
special.
starting. I
Dirt
need to see the
Motorsports
lineup.
has unveiled a new spec car. They unveiled it earlier tonight. 4 drivers took part in a special demonstration, driving the number 1, Doug Hoffman, the number 6, Danny Johnson, 94 piloted by Jeff Hetzel.
Are these sportsmen?
And 97 by Frank Cozy. Tell us about these spec cars.
Well, this is a very interesting concept put together by Glenn Dowling, the Dirt Motorsports Organization, and Billy Cole.
Is this how sportsmen started?
Now, the deal here is that all the cars will be identical, and you can do nothing to the motors. They'll come built, and they're sealed up, so you cannot modify them in any way. The tires are the same. Everything is the same, and they got the cost under control. This is you're able to buy one just as you see them on the racetrack right now for
Holy shit, I think this is how sportsmen started.
That's a lot of money, but
Oh, 358s. Okay, all right.
really insignificant. They're designed a lot
Spec
like a dirt
358s.
modified with some moly tubing involved.
Okay.
They're 4-coil suspensions. The bodies
So
are
this
a
is
little
cool. I didn't
simpler
expect to see
keep it,
this.
less expensive and a little bigger to let big guys get in it as well. And the engines are a stock ZZ4 350 cubic inch Chevrolet, and again, it will be sealed, so you can do nothing to it. This is a concept of dwarf cars and legend cars and so forth, the IMCA cars, all this to keep cost under control, and that's a very big problem in all of motorsports. So if they can keep it under control somehow or other, they can get lots of different people involved, and that's the objective here.
Cheaper, sure, but
The
2026.
fact is that we're liable to see that.
That's right. There are only 4 of these cars in existence right now, and you see the 4 of them on the racetrack. But by
There's a
Super
separate
Dirt Week, they
358
expect to
deal.
have
The
about
cars were
30 of
cheaper
them
too.
available
Oh, so
for
it wasn't
sale,
like
or
hand me
maybe
down
they'll have
modifieds
purchase
either.
by
They were
that
like
time. Then during the winter, they're
purpose-built
going to build them
chassis.
all winter long at Troyer Shop, and they'll be racing at all the dirt tracks in 1998.
And I'm guessing this
And
isn't
these
around
cars,
anymore.
as
If
you
I don't
mentioned,
know.
Gary, will be for sale at Super Dirt Week. It's going to be very, very exciting indeed. Well, last night, the Mighty Mod Squad roared around the Moody Mile at the New York State Fairgrounds for a Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series event. And Paul Small has the story.
The Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series held the first of its 3 events at the New York State Fairgrounds Mile last night. Canadian Joe Plazek in the number 1 car started on the pole lane.
God, they look so small. Uh-oh.
In the B&F Black M1 had to fall back on his guaranteed starter status to make the field. He started 29th and got as high as 9th until he dropped out with 5 laps to go. Excellent racing in mid-pack. Tim Fuller in the CarQuest 19 battles with Tim McCready in the number 24 and the Reclamation 33 of Jeff Hetzler. All 3 of them would finish. And Alan Johnston, the Bull Bars 12B, blew an engine. Back on the racetrack, Brett Hearn was the victim of a Bob McCready, Tim McCready sandwich all night in the Budweiser number 3. He was also fighting a tight condition on his race car, but still nailed down to top 10. Nobody could touch Joe Plazek in the Canadian car number 1. He pulled away from Kenny Tremont in the race's closing moments and took a dominating victory on the first 3 events to be held this year at the Moody Mile. Kenny Tremont held on for second, Eddie Marshall third, then Billy Decker and Tim Fuller.
A look at the Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series points picture after 6 events.
They shuffled the deck a little bit last night, but no change on the very top. Danny Johnson still leads. Bob McCready has come from 3rd to 2nd. Alan Johnson was from 2nd going in last night. Comes up with 3rd. Brett Hearn advanced from 7th in the points, and now he's up to 4. And you see Steve Payne in 5. There's a tie for 6. Jack Johnson and Jimmy Horton. They're just 2 points behind Payne and Pitzel. Very, very close in the middle of the pack. Timmy Fuller continues to stay in the hunt. Tim McCready, this outstanding young driver, is 9th. And Doug Hoffman, the defending champion of this series, is struggling a bit. He's 10th in the point standings with 350 points.
A very competitive series, and
Can you hear me now? Oh, I think we're back. I think we're back. I'm getting signals now. That's a fun issue I don't know how to prevent. Why would you... Hey, if you're new to the stream, I got this brand new microphone I'm trying out today, and I guess it decided to just mute itself. And I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. All right. Why? Okay. Mechanical engineer. Stupid electronic device. All right, where were we?
is gone. Half the year is over.
Nope.
Yet the summer
Can you hear me still here? But you can't hear me here.
is gone. Half the year is over.
Okay.
Yet the
All right,
summer
now we're
has
back.
just begun. The school's empty, but the playgrounds and
we're
ballparks.
10
This
minutes
is a very last night. The mock at the Skull Bandit Racing
Okay,
Super Dirt Series points picture after
Last thing I remember I
They
said,
shuffled the deck a little bit last night, but no change
if
on
those
the very
cars
top.
still
Danny
are
Johnson
around,
still
I
leads.
hope
Bob
one is
McCready
at
has
least
come
in the
from
museum.
third to second. Alan Johnson was
in
second
Leeds
going in last night.
Thanks for letting me
Up
know,
third.
Jamie.
Brett
I
Hurd
never would have
advanced from
realized that.
7th in the points, and now he's up to 4. And you see Steve Payne in 5.
Both at their
There's a
358
tie
spec
for
cars.
6.
And that
Jack
one
Johnson and
microphone.
Jimmy Horton. They're just 2 points behind Payne and Pitzel. Very, very close in the middle of the
I don't
pack.
get it.
Timmy Fuller continues
Just
to stay in
unplug
the
it and
hunt.
plug it back
Tim
in. That's
McCready,
how
this
electronics
outstanding
work.
young driver, is 9th. And Doug Hoffman, the defending champion of this series, is struggling a bit. He's 10th in the point standings with 350 points.
A very competitive series, and I'll tell you, they're really going after it in the points picture as well.
Hey,
when
we're
we
back.
come back, we will go racing on Rush Hour. But first, last night, dirt sportsman driver Kevin Fleming was fatally injured in a racing accident at the New York State Fairgrounds. On behalf of everyone at Dirt Motorsports, our heartfelt sympathy goes out to the family and friends of a true racing champion Kevin Fleming.
Oh, did we get old commercials? I love it when these old pre-recorded races have old commercials in them.
Slides are about to fire up and pull out for tonight's Skull Bandit
Get
Racing
the real
Super Dirt
authentic
Series event.
experience
Let's
of
take a
watching
look
it
at
back
our
in the day.
race analysis. This event covers 97 laps. There'll be 30 cars involved. The total purse, $30,000, $6,000 to win. The weather, well, I'll tell you, it was iffy all day today, but we have a beautiful night for racing. And let's not delay. Let's get after it because there are a few clouds overhead. How about our track description, Gary?
Well, this is a big 5/8 mile bank clay oval. The straightaways are 775 feet long. There's 6 degrees of banking in the corner, and you can actually see that and feel it. But the deal here is it's a big 5/8. I think it's 5/8 on the inside.
As for our track condition, always vitally important, down to Cowboy Paul Small.
And Doug, this is what it's all about. A nice big chunk of tacky clay that came right off the racing surface earlier tonight. If you were a track maintenance guy here at Rolling Wheels, you had an absolute nightmare the past 24 hours. Everything from wind and sun to torrential downpours and thunderstorms. But they've gotten this track in beautiful, smooth racing condition. Now, the question tonight is again going to be the choice of tire compounds for the Hoosier tires that these dirt modified teams run. They can run either soft or hard compound. Many teams waited until just before we went on the air to finally decide what tires to put on the race car. Brett Hearn, however, was solidly behind the hard tires, and Billy Decker has gone with the soft compound. We'll see how that shakes out.
We'll keep an eye on it. And as far as this track, I'll tell you,
about
congratulations to Bruno D'Amadio and all the folks here at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. We are race ready.
Really, the money doubled since I was born. That kind of is sad. You have a plans for which races we'll be at. I have some, Corey. I have some. I think I have my March and April figured out. I know I'm going to do during July 4th weekend, obviously Super Dirt Week, Eastern States. Most likely going to go to Charlotte again. Other than that, haven't looked too far into it. Towards the end of the month, I normally post a video asking you guys what tracks and which races I should consider hitting up that I haven't been at yet. Feel free to say now if you have something.
Inside row number 3, the 31 of Steve Botcher, and outside row 3, hey, happy 41st
Man, really, money doubled since I was born? That
Scotty Prentice lines up on the inside of row number 4. He's out of Central Square, New York. Alongside is the 1994 Mr. Dirt Sportsman champion, Timmy Dwyer from Gloversville.
The defending Skull champion is in row 5,
Bobby Varian.
Doug Hoffman, and the 111 of Bobby Varian.
Row number 6 on the inside will be the young driver out of Kingston, Ontario. That's Patty O'Brien. He's driving the Sheldon Legui Toyer tonight. He is a 4-time 358 Mr. Dirt champion. Alongside is Danny Johnson. You know all about Danny. Daring Dan, the stock car man in the Freightliner, number 6.
Row 7, 3-time Mr. Dirt, 6-time Skull Series champion. Number 3, Budweiser, number 3.
Mon Valley 200, damn it. Is that officially announced? Because your tweet is the only thing I've seen about it. Jamie, I've seen on Lebanon's schedule something called a Syracuse 200. What do they call it? Not a race, but like
second-generation driver out of Watertown who won his qualifying heat earlier
not a
tonight is
memorial.
alongside in the Jeff Gordon Power
Reunion?
number 24.
That sounds
And in row 9, it's the number 32.
But I haven't heard anything that
Tag,
it's actually going to be
and the
200
114
lap.
of Craig Van Doren.
A 200
Moving
lap
back to
mod.
row number 10 now on the inside. Franklin, New York driver Billy Decker in the
If it is, you know where I'm
number 91. Flying Brian Turner's alongside. He's in the JG Turner construction car number 11.
On to row 11, 56 of veteran Pat Ward, and outside the number 84, the Bill Trout McNell, Gary Tompkins.
Row number 12 on the inside is the oldest driver in the field tonight. That's 52-year-old Jack Johnson out of Duanesburg, New York, in the Dan Mazda Duchess overhead doors car. Alongside is Jimmy Phelps. He's only 22 years old. He's from Baldwinsville in the Arby's Olsen car.
Lucky row 13,
Jim
the
Phelps,
7M
not
of
Jimmy
Chris
Phelps,
Tuttle,
Jim
and the
Phelps.
97 of Jerry Higbee.
Kenny Tremont lines up on the inside of row number 14. Is out of West Sand Lake, New York. The defending champion Steve Payne is on the outside, starting in position number 28.
And rounding out our 30-car field, the 83 of Tommy Sears and the 19 of Tim Fuller.
Listen,
and
brother.
what a majestic view we have of this field as it sweeps out of
It's
turn
just, it
4
sounds
down
too
the
good to
front
be true,
straightaway.
is my
A
issue,
reminder,
right? A
caution
200
laps do
lapper
not
on the
count
high
for the
banks
first
of Lebanon
25
with no
tonight or the last
halfway
3.
break, live
Yes, in
pit
dirt
stops.
modified
Like,
racing, we will finish under the green.
dirt car rules, you know.
Fireworks display going off here as we get set to go.
Our heat winners, Brett Hearn, Tim McCready,
If they were planning
Scott
something like
Prentice,
this and they
Bobby Varon, consolation
just
winners,
figured they would
Pat
like make a
Ward,
proper
and
announcement and not
Gary
just like just
Tompkins.
throw it on there. Oh yeah, this is our
We
schedule for
mentioned
this
the
year.
big crowd on
post.
hand, and this is just a huge weekend and week for racing in the dirt circuit.
It certainly is. It all started last night at Syracuse. It'll continue
I
all
don't-
weekend long. And
I don't know what I'm going to do for that because Lebanon doesn't allow tents. It's one of the tracks that don't.
Mordecai Brown is on hand for a giant fireworks
So am I going to have to get a hotel for a track that's
Our
like
starter
an hour and a half away
is
from me?
Dave Farney, who is also high school principal. During
Man.
the course of the school year, we're set. Pace truck provided by Sam Dell Dodge. Downtown Syracuse pulls off. Field out of
Hoping the
turn 4.
announcement comes this
We'll
week.
watch the pole
Or
sitter.
hoping the announcement
Bliss.
comes this week.
And Dave Farney waves the green flag. We are underway, and what a
All right, we're
jump
good.
by Jeff Hetzler. He dives down low in turn 1. He has got the lead. Frank Cozy is in second place down the backstretch.
They're 3 wide for the number 2 spot. Cozy makes a bonsai move. He'll come up with a spot. Up on the outside comes McCready, and Ray Bliss goes back to the number 4 spot before they complete lap number 1.
Bliss, who, as we mentioned, won his first dirt modified big block feature just last Friday at Brewerton, really got jumped on the start, and Hetzler has opened up about a 7-car length lead.
Yeah, that's not really a surprise. Bliss does this on a shoestring budget, so these other guys got a lot more horsepower, a lot more money invested in their cars, and that's part of the reason. But this Ray Bliss, talk about the low block operation. He broke
Again,
down on his way home.
there's no score
from
bump
last
up
weekend,
top, so I'm
then
not sure
ran out
what
of
lap
gas
they're going to
before
be
he actually
on,
got home. We've got
which
caution on
cars
the
are going to be,
already.
or which drivers are going to be what
We
numbers.
have a car stalled in turn 4.
I have a lot better idea now
And
than I
that
do
is
for a
Doug
race from
Hoffman.
Oh
89.
dear, the tough luck that we talked about for Hoffman, 10th in the point standings, defending Skoll Series champion, is headed for the pits. But again, caution laps don't count. The rear end seems to have gone askew on that car. That could be a major problem for Mr. Hoffman out of Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Reminds me of Utica Rome, where the pit entrance is off to the right.
You know,
of
the Skoll Series is an
actual pit
endurance
road
test,
looks like it's
and
behind
there
turn
are
1 and 2.
so many chapters to it. But you know, you do
Yeah,
have
that
to
big
win. And
runoff
Hoffman
area.
has
This
really
is
struggled.
a lot
hey,
like
let's
Utica.
go down to the pits and Paul Small.
Doug, they're working on the left rear corner of the Blockbuster
I mean, it's
Video
a
number 1
5/8 instead
machine.
of a
He
1/2.
flattened a tire, and I tell you what, he didn't just flatten the tire. That's the beadlock that's on top of the rim that has just been sheared right off. Also pulling into the pit area is Scotty Prentice in the number 47. Now, caution flag laps do not count for the first 25, so Doug can actually take it a little bit easy on this pit stop. He makes sure all the lugs are on tight. He'll pull back out onto the racetrack and stay on the lead lap.
Easy, but he's got to get it back out before they go green, or in fact he will lose a lap, and they're 1 lap away from green.
Well, that crew is going to work in the pits, and there is blockbuster number 1 of Doug Hoffman back out on the track. He will go to the back of the pack, but rejoin the field, and he looks to be, Gary, he looks to be okay.
Yeah, I thought the rear end
I
had gone
watched
askew, but Paul
all
straightened that out
60
for
minutes
us.
of that
But
game.
there was some, somebody hit him, or he hit somebody or something, or to knock that beadlock off, as Paul described. There was a hit there.
So Eagle, you're like a new name. I don't
mess up
recognize you,
anything
so
else.
thank you for
Okay, so
checking
as
out
we
the
say,
channels, checking out the
Doug
stream,
Hoffman is back
stopping
in the
me.
pack,
Being a
and
fellow
he is
Rangers
on
fan
the
like
lead
me,
lap.
I'm miserable
As
today.
Paul mentioned,
That was a
caution
rough
laps
one.
do not count for the first 25. Meanwhile, look at the front row we have, and let's see if Jeff Hetzler can get a jump on Bob McCready.
Well, he has the advantage because he is the race leader. It's up to him to restart the race, and so we'll see how it works. Now, Hetzler's had a lot of bad luck. We saw him break as they came down for the checkered flag last week in Fonda. He was running third, ended up back in 5th place, I guess it was.
All right, back to green. What do we got?
And the green flag is out, and yes, Hetzler did get a jump on McCready. He has the lead in turn 1. He's going with a higher groove with that starting spot for the restart side by side. McCready is second.
Cozy runs in a number 3 spot. Bliss holds on to 4. Jimmy Horton has moved up to the number 5 position. He's in the black M1 this year. The Bob Faust General Machine car. General Machine car of Bob Faust, Jimmy Horton, the hired gun, and he's challenging Ray Bliss for the number 4 spot.
Looking further back in the pack, Danny Johnson and Bobby Barron.
Yeah, and brother.
Well, clearly you're someone I know personally. There's no one else knows me.
Bobby Barron up on top, Danny in the middle, and Allen way down on the bottom. Allen, the red bull bar, number 12B this year.
Back to Bliss in the 27. Remember, he started on the pole.
Yeah, he's now challenging for the number 3 spot. The caution flag is out again. We got a multi-car tangle up in turn number 4. A couple of cars going around, 4 cars involved in that.
Yeah, it really would have been, Corey. It really would have been.
Brings out our second caution.
Tuttle is
kicking myself every day for being.
I think that that
looks like Sears.
But
Timmy,
you know, we just got to support what we have now, man. I mean, go to Oswego, support Land of Legends and Weed Sport. You know, maybe someone will come along and purchase the land that Rolling Wheels is on. Track isn't torn down; it's still there. It just hasn't been active. I don't know why I can't hear the video now.
Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97 on Rush Hour will continue. This is the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Hopefully that's the video. Yeah, we're back. Okay, all right. Good to know. Don't do anything and it fixes itself. Unless it's the microphone that has an issue, then plug it back in. Okay. What is this? What is this?
Or candy apple red. A PPG certified collision repair shop uses premium paint and a palette of over 100,000 colors to precisely match your car's color, whether it's champagne metallic, emerald green, or banana yellow. PPG premium paint, the right match for your car.
Old commercials just have like this
Look for the local PPG
perfect charm
certified body
to
shop
it, you know?
in your area.
It's not like in your face, trying to grab your attention, being too
Back at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park for the
in
Bill
your
Trout
face.
Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker
They're charmed,
97,
they're
and
nice,
there
they're
is
charmed.
your running order
Pleasant
after
to look at.
4 of our 97 scheduled laps.
Hetzler leads with Bob McCready, Cozy, Bliss, the pole sitter, rides in 4. Jimmy Horton, Steve Botcher, second-generation driver out of Lighton, Pennsylvania. Hearn runs in the number 10 spot. The Johnson brothers are 8 and 9. And Sam Dell Dodge Dakota Pace Truck will leave the racetrack momentarily. We'll go back to green.
And Hetzler is on the pole position, outside pole. He chooses that groove to have the restart. They go side by side to the midway point of the race. And once again, Jeff Hetzler has that jump, putting the hammer down. McCready is second. Third place ranked Cozy. Bliss is 4th, and Horton is being challenged for 5th. And there's a race for the lead as well, Gary.
There certainly is. Bob McCready is pulled along the inside of Hetzler in a battle for the number 1
I think it's going to be.
down on the bottom, Hetzler up on top.
I think it's going to be. It's been a decade now. The city has really embraced it. The fans are really starting to embrace it now too. The atmosphere has gotten better and better every year.
The race unfolds. But right now, Jeff Hetzler in the Smitty's
I think the only negative is that it's Columbus Day weekend by the Great Lakes, so it's raining and freezing and like rough. Fresco, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping in.
Down the front straightaway, and Cozy
Got some old school modified racing tonight.
Running the outside of the racetrack, and down on the way on the bottom is Jimmy Horton in the black number 1. So Bob McCready runs into there's that battle for the number 3.
This is 1997 Rolling Wheels feature.
Trucking number 24 CarQuest Auto Parts automobile. They
8
blew
laps
their
old.
10th engine of the season last night. A disastrous year for that team. It's a brand new team. Boy, they're going through a lot of money in a hurry. Cozy won 10 races last year. He's blown 10 engines.
And who says dust is a modern day problem? Did you see that?
Not even halfway into the season.
This has always been a modified thing. You guys just have bad.
Rick Rosso Jr. of Belmead, New Jersey, has already spent $250,000 on the engine program this season. And that's just plain bad luck.
Well, he's got a new engine program now. He's got a new engine builder. And,
$250,000 in 1997 by
sort out the
July.
engine problems for this very, very potent team. They won a race at the very beginning of the season back in March, I think it was, and they've won some others, but they've had a tough luck. Caution flag flies again. We've got a problem someplace on the racetrack. Caution flag number 3. We got a car stopped up on the top of the 4th turn. It's Chris Tuttle again. He was involved in an altercation earlier. Tuttle brings the number 7M to a stop here on lap number 9.
And that was just as Horton was passing Bliss for 3rd place.
Actually, that would have been for 4th place because we've got the 24 of Cozy up in 3rd. So there you go. But anyway, Jimmy Horton, Bob Faust's B&F General Machine, Olson number M1 takes over the number 4 spot.
And Tuttle gets a push.
Is that the same
Bob
N1
McCready
that
is headed for the pits. Bob McCready heading
Marcaccelli
into the
runs?
pits. We'll have that story for you
that
as
the
soon
same
as
team?
it becomes available. Our Paul Small is down there in the pits.
McCready, winner of our opening Rush Hour Live program and opening Super Dirt Series event down at Susquehanna. Paul Small is standing alongside the crew now.
We have
We'll
not
see
picked
what,
good
is going
races
on
for
with Bob
barefoot
McCready.
Bob.
Paul?
I don't know exactly what's wrong here, but Bob has shut the car down as he came into the pit area. They're working, it looks like, in the right rear corner of the car. You get a closer look, you can see they've got a flashlight in there. They're working in the rear end assembly inside the right rear. Looks like they're also just handed Bob some kind of a bottle of maybe some kind of lubricant or something that he might be trying to use inside the car himself. We'll walk right here on the other side and
Is it rear end issues again? Are we 2 for 2 with Bob McCready rear end issues?
Looks like it might be a problem, a pedal problem. Bob, you can see him kind of pumping his left foot up and down. Might be a brake problem here. This is terrible luck for Bob McCready. That car was running so well. He was running the soft tires like Jeff Hetzler, just running a little bit of a different lane on the racetrack. But it looks like a tough break here. We'll have to see how this develops and pans out as they continue to work on this car.
Sold out in the mid-2000s.
All right,
okay.
boy, tough news for Bob McCready, and we now have total confirmation that this is a brake problem.
Yeah, we saw a guy standing alongside with a bottle of brake fluid and trying to find a place to, he knew where to put it.
Well, they're pushing back out toward the track.
He'll run without brakes, but he's at the back of the pack, again in the lead lap. But
I wonder what the story behind that is. Why?
The barefoot wonder
I mean, Marcaccelli runs
fans here respond
like
as
the
McCready
capital
emerges
region, right?
back into turn 1 and
Jamie
now
Horton
the back
down,
stretch.
obviously, by New
And let's
Jersey, so
see
it's
exactly
quite a
how
big
Bob
distance
goes
in
about
modified
this,
nation.
with the brake problems. Meanwhile, that front row now comprises of Jeff Hetzler
the Russell
and
team
Frank
R24 that
Dave
spent
Barney waves the
250
green
engines
flag.
is
We
still
are
around.
back
Yes.
to racing
They're just the
rolling
grandkids
wheels.
driving now. Yes. The Grossos helped revitalize New Egypt Speedway probably around this time.
As they race out of 2 ahead down the back straightaway. Horton is right there.
I remember that when I did the research on the track for my weekly race showcase last year.
Barron in the white number 111 runs.
They run Bridgeport now, though, so.
And we've got Alan Johnson down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Battle for second. Jimmy Horton and Frank Cozy. Horton is down low. Cozy out high in the number 24. Does Horton have the job done? No, not out of turn
not
2.
yet.
Down the backstretch, Cozy continues to lead by about a foot, maybe a foot and a half.
Oh, don't jump it, Frank.
Ground as they work out of turn number 4. They come to the line. He's back at the number 2
drill
spot.
for the M1 for the last 5 to 6 years of its life. Got it. Makes more sense.
Johnson has taken over the number 4 position. Bobby Barron runs in 5. Back in 6. It's a side-by-side battle. Brett Hearn and Stevie Botcher. There's
still
the
side-by-side.
The number 2 spot. Hetzler has opened up a 10-car length advantage over this side-by-side duel as they work out a 4.
And this is really a classic example of high groove, low groove, and what the drivers choose to
Track
run.
is racy tonight.
It's a great demonstration of the condition of this racetrack. We talked earlier about, or Paul did, about what great shape it was in, and it certainly is. They are side
Is that
by
Alan
side.
Johnson?
Down the back straightaway.
He drove a red car?
And again, Alan Johnson showing in the screen there just momentarily. He's just inches behind, riding in the number 4 spot. Down on the bottom, it's
I've never known him to drive a red car.
Bobar number 12B
It's always like the yellow and
with
blue.
Alan Johnson before this year.
Our leader is Jeff Hetzler. Again, Horton
The
goes
white and gold.
below Cozy. Can't get the job done. Cozy hasn't won since April 12th at Orange County's opener, so he would love to taste the
Where's the logo?
fruits of victory here this evening.
Great racing. Yeah, for real.
He runs the outside, but again, this is the battle for the number 2 spot. It's been confirmed now that there is a hole in the brake line of Bob McCready's Kinney Drug Store's Syracuse frame service car, so they can pour all the
Still
brake
side
fluid
by
that
side.
they've got, and it won't stop unless they can find that hole, block it up or something, or cut the line off and run with 3 battles or whatever.
He continues to run way in
So
the back
he'd be
of
in
the
the
field,
97?
also trying to make a move. Doug Hoffman, who had to pit earlier and restarted in the back of the field, he's up to 20th now.
That's right, and he's about to take over position number 19 as he works down on the inside of Timmy Dwyer. Great battle there, and there you see a great shot from the start-finish line.
This is just a magnificent facility.
Oh,
we have yellow once
Danny
again.
Johnson. Danny Johnson
Oh.
in a Freightliner car number 6 is stopped up on the top of the racetrack in turn number 1 and 2. He pulls off the track. This is our point leader, Danny Johnson. Had involved in a vicious crash at Fondo last week. Finished 22nd there. Didn't finish, but was scored 22nd. He was 12th last night at Syracuse, and now he's got a problem here in the early going.
2 victories in the Skoal circuit thus far this year. Our points leader is headed for the pits. We are live at the Fast Track Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. And our coverage of the Phil Trout Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97 on Rush
There were
Hour
so
will
many teams
continue
back then
on the Dirt
when I win
Motorsports
$1 billion
Television
in the
Network.
lottery. All modified racing, going to make sure we get team owners back. Silly season was fun back when I was a kid.
Back at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park, 15 laps in the books out of 97, and we are set. Back to green, and trying to get a jump on.
I mean, it's not even that there were so many teams. There were so many competitive teams.
Hessler's got the lead in turn 1, now to turn 2. And look at Alan Johnson.
And I felt like we were going to get back to there a little bit this year. I mean, we had 11 different drivers win Super DIRTcar Series races this year. And we still have our big 3. I mean, look at how many different names are scrolling down.
The Freightliner car is apparently on the race.
But you're right.
Race leader
there weren't a lot of owner drivers.
Bernie Smith Reclamation Car 33. It's a Troyer bus with a precision-built big block Chevrolet under the hood. But the battle going on right now for position number 3. Horton on the inside, Cozy on the outside. A couple of young drivers that came up here together to race in New York State. They're both 41 years old. They've won a lot of races all over the East Coast.
And also entering that fray is the Budweiser number 3 of Brett Hearn, who started this race in the 13th position. He has now moved up to 2, 4, 5th position, and he's battling for 4th. He may have Cozy here.
He slides by on the inside. Horton.
Cozy has a problem.
He's pulled to the top of the racetrack. Frank Cozy out of Wind Gap, Pennsylvania. We told you about all the problems they've had.
So we watched 2 races so far. Both have had Bob McCready have rear end issues.
Slowly down the front straightaway and headed for the garage
both have
area.
seen a competitive Cozy and Davey Johnson have issues.
So Frank Cozy limps down the front straightaway, and let's see if he makes a right turn into the pits. There he goes.
Well, some heavy hitters have had problems here early, and we mentioned Danny Johnson out of it.
Yeah, this one really can't get going.
Maybe just mud the rear wheel. That was some vibration as the car went by. We're talking now about our latest retiree, Mr. Cozy. Hopefully that's the situation, and if so, that's an easy fix, and they get it back out. But giving up very, very valuable track position. So
this is rolling
here in this 97 lap contest.
We mentioned that the winners in the previous 3 races here at Rolling Wheels this year, Alan Johnson, Brett Hearn, and Doug Hoffman. There is the winningest driver in Dirt Motorsports history, the number 12.
It kind of reminds, I mean, it looks a lot like Utica Road mixed with Albany Saratoga.
On the outside.
I said that Allen had come from 10th. I'm just checking the lineup now. He came from the
like so far in this race, Horton
starting position. So
Bob
Alan Johnson is really on fire. The Bobar car, number 12, it's an Olsen car. And Allen has driven a lot of race cars over the years, but he's never driven the Olsen cars until this year.
Next week, Rush Hour travels to the
shit ton of owners back then that hired guys. Yeah, I
for
mean,
the Bud Shootout 97.
The master of going faster.
I mean, Tim Sears drives for himself today. Parego drives.
Of his domain,
a
D-shaped dirt demon known as the Brewerton Speedway. In last year's Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series event, McCready and the Kitty Truck Stores car put on a school of driving in dirt modified excellence. Barefoot Bob goes for another win at the D-shaped Dirt Demon as Rush Hour comes to Brewerton Speedway next Thursday night.
Right side panhards, no giant bodies, big tires, racetrack character, God the glory.
And are we looking forward to that?
What's up, DC? Thanks for stopping in, man. Yeah, I mean, this is cool. I picked 2 races that, 1, I wasn't born in, and 2 are at tracks that are no longer racing. So this is really cool to see, looking at something that's so familiar to me, but is also completely alien. Saturday night modified feature racing, man.
Hetzler on the outside. Alan Johnson on the inside, and Brett Hearn goes way up on top. They're thinking about 3 wide, it won't work, and it's Hetzler.
This one really hasn't gotten going at all. 19 laps in, there's about 4 or 5 cautions already. But we have Hearn versus Allen.
Second position, it looks like he's got AJ sideways there, and so down the front straightaway, it's Hetzler, Hearn, and Alan Johnson. Johnson.
Horton runs in number 4 spot. Joe Plazik from his number 14 starting spot is up to the number 5 position now in the Maple Leaf number 1. He takes over 5. Bobby Varon runs in 6. The Pennzoil 91 of Decker is in 7. Back at 8 is Jack Johnson.
Something
9
else
is
I
Greg
noticed,
Von
man.
Doren.
There's a lot of
Rounding out the top 10 is Stevie Botcher.
Fortune 500 companies on the side of race cars. Budweiser, mentioned Pennzoil, Skoal is the sponsor of the race, or the series. They don't have stuff like that anymore. The best we have is Napa with Alex Jankowski.
Down the back straightaway. Again, that's 11th position. The white car number 1 of Patty O'Brien, second generation driver, brother of Danny O'Brien, Racing O'Brien. They won a bunch of races up on the Canadian border.
Boy, Doug Hoffman is the ride of his life right now. We have yellow on the racetrack, and we have a car parked in turn 3.
Yeah, we got 2 cars parked in turn 3. One of them is almost off the racetrack, and one isn't, and that's the white number 1A of Timmy Dwyer. And I can't tell who that other car is, but it is Dwyer in the 1.
I see the Zeller 31 back there that Steve Boucher was hired on. I can only assume my hot rod was there.
The other driver is Gary Tompkins in the Bill Trout car. How unfortunate. Bill Trout, the car owner. Gary Tompkins, number 84, is involved in this altercation.
So this is lap 21 of a scheduled 97 lapper here in the Skoal Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series. Well, tonight's Skoal Bandit Super Dirt Series event is sponsored in part by a longtime friend of Dirt Motorsports, Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury, located between Syracuse and Rochester at exit 41 on the New York State Thruway in the heart of the Finger Lakes, historic Seneca Falls. With over 30 years in the automobile industry, it's no wonder why Bill Trout takes particular pride in saying, "We are the people who make the difference." Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury, home of the new Lincoln Navigator. We are live at the Fast Track Rolling Wheels Raceway Park in Elbridge, New York, and our coverage of the Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97 on Rush Hour will continue after these messages. This is the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
I think both Trout and Gary
17th
Tompkins
position, having his struggles, is barefoot Bob McCready. Let's get the story from the pits. Paul Small.
Down here in the pit area with crew chief for Barefoot Bob McCready's car, Hugh Naylor. Hugh, the first question is, how bad is this brake problem?
Well, he's got 3 brakes now instead of none. We fixed it as best we can do right now. So I think we'll be okay. The track is so slippery that he can just, get off the throttle, use what brake he has.
That was funny.
We're passing a few cars, so hopefully we're okay.
Has Bob said anything else? Does he feel he has any kind of a shot to win this one?
He doesn't talk much. He doesn't say anything.
I think Bob McCready lets his actions on the racetrack speak louder than any words he might say, Doug.
Yeah, but I think a lot of ears perk up a little bit when you say you have 3 brakes. What's that all about?
Well, I said there would be a hole in the line would be a problem unless they were able to cut one of the lines off, and that's what they've done. So 3-wheel brakes, as Hugh said, better than none. Not as good as 4, but better than none. Notice the very different nose piece on the front of McCready's car. You can just see it there in the camera. It's almost straight up and down. That's a special piece that Tim Hatt has put together for him, and they hope to get more downforce out of it. It's got to give downforce, but it doesn't slow him down too much. We're back to green.
After our 6th caution already in this race, Jeff Hetzler leads Brett Hearn in turn 1. Jimmy Horton is 3rd. Alan Johnson is 4th. He's making a bid for that 3rd position, but Horton holds him off down the backstretch. There are your leaders. Jeff Hetzler in the 33, the Budweiser number 3, Brett Hearn.
Hetzler continues to run the top groove.
It's a shame I couldn't get that red to take off. I would love to see what we could have done. I thought, unfortunately, sometimes things don't work out. 3 brakes, no right front, so I can't hurt you. Exactly.
All race long, he runs in lead, but Hearn, remember, has come from deep in the pack to run the number 2 spot.
Hetzler and Hearn, of course, 2 full-time drivers. They've had many, many battles like the one they're raging right now at Orange County for almost 2 decades.
Yeah, but they don't do that anymore because Hetzler still races at Orange County. Brett's gone off to the Lebanon Valley Speedway to call that his Saturday night race place for the last couple of years.
Battle for fifth. There's Barron and Joe Plosick. Barron in the 111, Plosick in the Canadian number 1. And just outside, jumping Jack Johnson trying to leap a position.
Jack Johnson has caught that battle, and they run 2-3 wide. They're up to lap number 25, so now caution laps will count from this point on. There's Barron running the middle of the racetrack.
Wait, they didn't count for the first 25?
Way down on the bottom, trying to bring that car to the front. Again, he was the winner last night at Syracuse on the mile.
It's a little backwards.
Another one of the low buck driving teams that you talk about, but he's hanging in there with the big guys, and I think you'd say Joe Plosick is one of the big guys.
He's a big guy as well, but he's not a full-time racer.
Look at those bodies dance around the straightaway. I was better coming back to Orange County in 26. Brother, it's my home track. Where else am I going to go?
Eastern Center, Ontario. So many of the guys that are running up front are full-time racers.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have a new phone for recording, so the microphone in the pits will work. The only thing I'm going to do is, if everything works out, a little behind the scenes for people watching the stream. The way I have it planned out is that episode 100 will land on Orange County, and I'll probably do a regular weekly race showcase video for Orange County for number 100 instead of hanging out with the street stock guys. But then for the rest of the season, yeah, I'll be in the pits. I'll be in the pits with you boys.
Doug Hoffman thus far.
Hopefully rainouts and stuff like that don't hurt me in that plan can work out perfectly.
We're back to the Barron and Plosick and Jack Johnson battle for fifth spot.
Jack Johnson hanging right.
So you got to be the first person to call me Phil Bear. I've had Bear as a nickname since high school. So never heard of him.
36 years old. And Barron just 26 years of age. He's one of Dirt's rising stars. Just needs some good sponsorship.
He does have a better deal than he's had in a long, maybe best ever. He did have a short stint in the Council Hero car last year. Maybe that was a little better finance. But Fred Tanner from nearby Port Byron, New York, is footing the bills for the Barron effort this summer, and that's been a big boost in Bobby Barron's racing activities.
Good battle for first place. Jeff Hetzler in the 33, Brett Hearn in the number 3. Hearn, a winner here earlier this year.
Hearn's looking the outside.
Can't get by Hetzler, whose first win ever here came last Labor Day. A photo finish victory in a 50-lap event over Joe Plosick. We have a good battle now for first place.
Yeah, I think Hearn's got the horsepower or the traction or whatever it is if he can simply get around. Now, I talked about how Hetzler hadn't varied at all last time we saw him move down to the bottom on the back straightaway. They're side by side as they run down the back straightaway right now. That's a Toyota car on the outside, a T.O. Pro car built by Bobby Hearn on the bottom of the racetrack. They are
hey, man, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Rest assured that he is very happy with that car. Remember, he came from the number 13 starting spot.
Brett Hearn dives down low on Hetzler down the backstretch. Hey, enjoy this race, fans. It doesn't get any better than this.
Brett up on top, going a little higher now.
Hetzler's able to just take away his line perfect.
Again, catching him is one thing, passing him is another, and that's what Brett Hearn's experiencing right now.
Well, Hearn is clearly faster, but Hetzler's just able to put his car perfectly, except for there, even down the backstretch.
These two veterans are side by side.
And did you notice Hetzler reach up and tear off a tearaway off of his helmet? Incredible when you think at that point on the racetrack, they were probably going about 120 miles an hour, faster than you'd park your car in a supermarket parking lot, and he's reaching up to tear off of his helmet. Of course, you got to see where you're going. That's why he tore it off. Incredible. These guys are professionals and great athletes. They're about to lap Kenny Tremont.
On into turn 3. Tremont is down low, out of the racing groove for these two fellas, and down the front stretch they roar. Hetzler has opened up about a 2 or 3 car length lead now on Brett Hearn, who swings out wide.
Hetzler, 38 years old, out of Wallkill, New York. Bernie Smith is the car owner.
Yeah, straight they have those cars.
Married, has a daughter.
Things, yeah.
Now Hearn was going low earlier.
I mean, you have to remember, it's also a 5A smile, right? When you go to Lebanon and you go to Orange County, and you're looking at the cars straight on down the straight, they do look straight.
Remember at the head of the program, how Paul Small told us how Hearn had gone with the hard tires.
In the corners here, you notice they are not leaning on the right rear like a lot of modern modifieds.
That is going to work in Hearn's favor because they'll burn those tires off here on this relatively hard racetrack.
Here's a good
battle back to the number 9 spot. Down on the bottom. It's second-generation driver Stevie Botcher out of Lehighton, Pennsylvania. He's a graduate of Penn State University. He goes against the Pennzoil 91 of Billy Decker out of Franklin, New York.
Back to the front. No change there. It's a torrid battle between Hetzler and Brett Hearn.
Hearn goes right up over the cushion.
Jeez.
That costs him just a little bit, but then he gets a run down a straightaway. But again,
I mean, Hearn's showing a lot of patience here. I mean, he knows it's early on in the race.
Jimmy Horton runs in the number 3.
I know he has the faster car. He's not trying to force the issue.
5. Joe Plazik is at 6. Jack Johnson is at 7. Running 8 is Doug Hoffman. 9 is the battle we were just watching, Stevie Botcher. And running in the number 10 spot is Decker.
Hearn is back low.
They have him
back
here.
on the racetrack, trying to get Hetzler.
No, Hetzler's so good up top.
Continues to hold off the jet.
Brett really backed it into turn number 1 there, got it really crossed up, trying to figure out a way to get by Hetzler. No rear view mirrors in these cars, and I'm not sure if the fans understand that, but they can't see who's back there or if anybody's back there, but they can hear things going on, and rest assured that Hetzler can hear somebody working, and he's probably figured out by now who that is that's working on. They're about to lap the pole position car. That's Ray Bliss Jr., Zeke the Streak, who started on the pole. Hetzler started outside the front row, and he's led the entire distance so far. We've now completed 40 laps.
And after 6 early cautions, we have sustained action on the racetrack, and Hearn once again dives down low. You know, another thing that might be hard for some folks to comprehend is the confidence that these fellas have in each other to race like this.
That's right. And as we said, over 100 miles an hour and closer than you park your car in the supermarket parking lot. And there were those big tires hanging out there in the air. And if they run over one another's tires, they've got Nerf bars and so forth to protect against that. But that doesn't always work. And that can be a real big problem if they get in trouble. And again, they respect one another. Really doing a great job. Side by side out of 4, but again, as they cross the line, it's the Bernie Smith, number 33, Jeff Hetzler at the keyboard.
As they continue to battle, we had a shot a few seconds ago of Bob McCready. He's now up to 13th position, so he continues to make gains. And
Danny, I just noticed how you spelled
position on the racetrack is Brett Hearn. Can
That's
he do
funny.
it? Into turn 4, down the front straightaway again. It is Jeff Hetzler who has the grip coming out of turn 4. He's got the lead.
Hearn hugs the cushion way down on the bottom, has the best shot that he's had all night long. Their side by little contact, nothing major there as they race out of 2 and down the back straightaway. Hetzler on the outside.
Hetzler had some push.
Hearn on the inside. Soft
that might be
against
it.
Hard tires here. And these long extended laps heating up the tires, and that'll work to the advantage of Hearn, disadvantage of Hetzler as we work lap number 45 now.
I'll tell you, Hearn has been on the back bumper of Jeff Hetzler for a number of laps, and he's not been able to get him yet.
But he's there, and you can't count him out until the checkered flag flies. He's won a whole lot more races than Hetzler. They've both been at it for a while. Hetzler will try, Hearn will try the outside, then he comes
he tried to cross him over.
That's a nice move. Just get a little more bite.
Well, it might be it if he could dive it deep. That's the closest he's been on corner entry.
Has 3 wins at Albany Saratoga Speedway this season, but no dirt sanctioned victories as of yet. But Hearn is getting a real testing.
Oh, they're coming up to a whole bunch of lap cars.
Again, Hearn has a nose in front.
I think he's got it. They're even.
This is a great battle, and it's about to get a whole lot greater as they're going to encounter lap cars in the next lap or so. You can see some of the lap cars showing just at the bottom of the screen. They're side by side as they cross the line. Hearn will lean on them just a little bit as they go to turn 1, but he scrubs off too much speed. Hearn got crossed up a little bit too far, lost some ground. But again, they are about to catch Gary Tompkins and Timmy Dwyer. Those cars are about to go a lap down, and how the leaders thread their way through, this could be the difference right here, Doug.
A sustained battle for
We're watching this. I've seen a lot of people coming in and out. Thank you guys for checking out the stream tonight. Wanted to watch some modified feature racing on a Saturday night like we normally do. There goes Hearn. Oh, does he have him clear? Hetzler's so good on the straights. That's it.
And that will work as they encounter the lap cars now. And again, the Hearn can now pick his way through the lap cars. That'll be whoever was leading. When they caught the lap cars, it would be the advantage of the leader because he can thread his way through. He'll never get through side by side.
So on lap 48, which is basically the midway point of the race, Brett Hearn takes the lead, and now he stretches it out to about 4 car lengths as he's into lap traffic down the backstretch.
Gary Tompkins in the Bill Trout-owned Honeoye Auto Parts number 84 McNeil car goes a lap down. This is the 4th place car. Alan Johnson running in the number 5 spot is Jimmy Horton in the M1.
Horton looked like he was going to be a real solid player for the lead a few short laps ago. He had a big charge after this was last night at the New York State Fairgrounds. He started last in a backup car after a blown engine in the heat, and came on to 8th before he had a broken radiator cap, and that put him out.
Oh wow, Hearn flew away.
But that was last night. These guys never look
The
back.
Jersey
They're
Jet
always looking
flew
forward.
away.
And, right now, they're all looking at the rear of the Budweiser.
How about the Valley bringing back the 200 lapper with live pit stops in 2026? Interested to see how that goes. Jamie and I were talking about that a little earlier. I haven't actually seen anything officially announced by that. But man, if that's true, oh, there's a glimmer of hope for proper old school modified racing again, man. You know exactly where I'm going to be if that is true. It sounds like that weekend goes up against Super DIRTcar Series running at Can-Am. So it's going to be interesting to see who shows up. Don't know if we're going to get all the Fonda guys because Lebanon runs dirt car rules. But man, big money season just got a new crown jewel.
The Buddy Bieber car.
McCready came within a whisker of parking the car this evening, and now he's really making a move. On the move.
I suspect that we're the only ones that he thought he was going to park it, because he's a racer. This is what he does for a living, and you can't make any money sitting in the pits. So no brakes or 4-wheel brakes or 3-wheel brakes or whatever it takes. McCready will be racing if it's at all possible. And again, he was one of the cars involved in that multi-car tangle last week at Fonda that we saw on TV. Finished way back. He was able to come back and run the race, but finished back in the number 22 spot.
Frank Van Doren in the number 114 having a real hot season on the Pennsylvania small block trail.
But that's a whole different deal. A big block in the car tonight, and there's about 150 to 200 horsepower differential, and big blocks worked a whole lot different than the small block cars.
He's running well.
Running in the number 11 spot with Bob McCready working all over him. The barefoot wonder out of Watertown, the master of going faster, 3-wheel brakes and all.
Comment on the course.
Again, that's the battle for position number 11.
Shit. But you said
56 laps are now
true. I
complete.
hope it goes really well. Yeah, I mean, it's
Brett Hearn.
everything in terms of like having ins and listening to insiders and stuff like that. It sounds like it's a go, but for Lebanon to announce something like that by just nonchalantly putting it on the end of their, this is probably going to be our schedule post.
There's Brett.
It's just weird.
In the Budweiser number 3. Hearn out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. Has a considerable lead. About 3.5 seconds on Jeff Hetzler, and he's looking to add a little more cushion to that as he blazes down the backstretch.
He just blazed past the number 19 of Tim Fuller, the CarQuest Auto Parts number 19.
So Brett Hearn continues to lead our Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97 from Rolling Wheels Raceway Park in Elbridge. And our coverage will continue after these messages on the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Kroll and all the fine folks at
the tour team.
Access Reynolds in East Syracuse.
Put up the dirt week one. I was thinking about putting up 2021 Super DIRTcar Series schedule T-shirt back there.
For the Rush Hour
That's
Series. You
$13.
800-979-DIRT and use your Visa and MasterCard. Let's go down to the pits. Cowboy Paul Small.
Doug updating the saga of the hot dog Doug Hoffman in the Blockbuster video #1. Remember at the top of the show he had to pit and change that left
Blockbuster
rear
Video,
tire.
see another
He's on the hard tires
big
tonight. He's been
name
moving up nicely.
company.
As a matter of fact, he's in the top 10. The only problem is Doug is reporting from the car that one of the brakes is hanging up. There's been a long green flag session. He really hasn't had any time under green to diagnose which brake it is or what the problem is. His crew says they desperately need a caution flag if they expect Doug to move up any further in the field.
There is a look at the Blockbuster #1 of Doug Hoffman.
Man,
He currently runs in the number 8 spot. We've got 68 laps now completed. A rundown. Hearn is the leader. Hetzler runs in 2nd. Alan Johnson is in 3rd. Jimmy Horton runs 4. Jack Johnson is 5. Bobby Varon is 6. Joe Plazek is 7. Hoffman is 8. Billy Decker is 9. Stevie Botcher is 10. Bob McCready has taken over the number 11 spot. And Craig Von Doren runs in the number 12 position. That's all on lap number 60. Now number 69.
As we go back to Brett Hearn, he is putting laps on drivers around the race course. Brett now with an 8-second lead. Brett Hearn leading by 8 seconds.
He's gone.
Well,
He's
one
on
of our
the race.
Skull
This is a
Bandit
classic
Racing
Brett
Super Dirt
Hearn
Series regulars is
dominant
not here
race.
tonight. Dave Camara is attending to some family matters with the recent passing of his grandfather. Our thoughts and prayers are with Dave and his family. Brett Hearn, your race leader here at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. And there's the interval back to the 2nd place Jeff Hetzler.
Yeah, these guys, we talked, Paul Small talked about a caution that was required or needed for Hoffman. Well, a lot of guys need a caution right now. But they're going to catch the leader because he's really stretched out. There's our 2nd place car, Jeff Hetzler in the Bernie Smith-owned Reclamation 33.
Then let's check out the interval back to 3rd place.
Yeah, you could tell they're tiptoeing around the corners.
There it is, the
now.
red
They've
car up on the
definitely
outside. That's
retired.
Alan Johnson, a couple lap cars separating Alan, who runs in 3rd, from the 2nd place car of Hetzler.
So Alan is in 3rd position, then back behind AJ Slideways. Well, let's follow Alan.
So Alan Johnson in that number 4 spot, a ways back. You're going to see a black car showing up here momentarily. Actually, the yellow car, the number 87. Jack Johnson has now taken over the number 4 spot, and Jimmy Horton has fallen to the number 5 position. So Jack Johnson runs in 4. Jimmy Horton is in 5.
Another strong performance for Jack Johnson.
Yeah, he's a lot of guys changed teams during the offseason and just made a big difference to a lot of folks.
Jamie,
Alan
you were
drove for the
saying?
Bobar team last year. Jimmy Horton drove for the Duchess team, and they're all shuffled up, but they're all at the top. It seems no matter what car they're driving, these guys are great professional race car drivers. There's Jimmy Horton, the Bob Faust B&F General Machine car number M1, the black car. But he's being pressured by Bobby Varon and Fred Tanner, number 111. That is for the battle.
Bobby Varon just gave him a shot.
Little friendly bump by Bobby in the turns, and Horton continues to hold on. Now Varon will dive down low in turn 3 into turn 4, and they bump again.
Yeah, contact sport. We talked about the respect that they have for one another. Well, if you do it at the right place at the right time, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, and certainly not intentional.
Bobby
slides by, a little slide job there, down on the bottom, and then slides right up on top, and Horton had to get on the brakes probably to avoid a contact that would have been a problem to spin Bobby Varon out.
Very solid pass before it's all done, and Varon now tries to put a little distance between he and Horton. Varon, boy, a top 5 finish would be great for his pocketbook in a big money race like
So I don't know
this
if they
one.
said it, but is that 111 the Drelos ride? See?
Varon's 26 years old. He had a great run going last week at Fonda, but all of a
Actually,
sudden,
I got Drelos
with about
on today.
5 or 6 laps to go, something was going wrong with the rear end of the car. There was a giant vibration, and he withdrew from the event running in, I believe, the 6th or 7th spot. So Bobby Varon has not had a real good summer, but again, Fred Tanner putting the bills this year, that helps a lot. So if you break, it's somebody else's problem. And that's sort of the way Bobby Varon's looking at it right now.
And there's a look at Jimmy Horton, and he certainly has appeared to have his hands full with that race car.
Yeah, you can see him moving inside the cockpit, the gloves showing every once in a while, and it's not running on rails as it was earlier. In fact, Joe Plazek is closing in on him. You saw the white,
It's cool, you can kind of tell the guys that are moving around the track a little bit just to find a little bit of extra grip, a little bit more loose dirt, try to get it out of the rubber.
That shows you how fast a car can get away from you, apparently, because he was really charging earlier.
Yeah, the number of variables involved in all this, the tires that we've talked talked about the hards and the soft, and if one should go a little softer or grow a little, the stagger is a problem. They all run on the same spec tire. They're all Hoosiers, and they're all the hard tires. They're all the same hardness, and if they're soft tires, they're all the same softness, if you will. So not a lot of variable there, but the air pressure that they put in them, they can make any choice they want to. And then as the tire grows or doesn't grow during the race, that'll change things. The shocks and bars will give up, and a lot of things can go wrong during the course of a 97-lap contest. We've got 80 laps down. There's a shot of Joe Plosick, Ray Bliss, the pole sitter, and here comes that blockbuster number 1 of Hoffman. He's now running in the number 7 spot.
Doug Hoffman continues to make that charge from the back of the pack. He's running very, very strongly.
Yeah, 8th lap, 7th.
Yeah, he's going to need cautions.
The 8th place car. He's out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's a Troyer car with a Hutter big block Chevrolet under the hood. And here comes Billy Decker with his Olson car.
Oh man. Hey man, you gotta run home quickly to make sure your wife doesn't find out. Absolutely.
Billy Decker, he's a logger. We've got a couple loggers out here.
That's
Decker is a logger.
You already know way more than me.
An interesting occupation.
Try to drag you off.
Find logging with race car driving.
Billy Decker in the not Felix walk.
So 15 laps to go, and after 6 early cautions, we have been green for a good number of laps. What has that done for tire wear?
Green forever, and tire wear is not good because these tires are now extremely
Brett shaved
hot.
that mustache. It was like the first story on this week's content.
This has been a long green flag session. And the guy that's loving the green flag session is the leader, because if they don't go caution, then he continues to stretch it out and has he can work his way through traffic. But a caution flag will tighten things up. And
I saw they're trying to revitalize this week on dirt a little bit last year.
Third of a track lead for Brett Hearn, who continues to roar around the Rolling Wheels Raceway Park.
He's one of the winningest drivers here. He's won in the double digits someplace or other. He, Hearn, and knows his way around this big money, big racetrack.
There's Bob McCready. He continues to charge. Had brake problems earlier. Went back to the back of the pack after a trip to the pits, and now he is in 10th.
There's that very interesting nose piece that we talked about earlier. Tim Hatt, the fabricator that builds the bodies for all the sheet metal work.
That is a
Bob
weird
McCready.
looking front nose.
Very different nose piece with 12 laps to go. McCready is catching Decker, but he's about to go a lap down to our race leader, Brett Hearn.
The interesting thing as we take a look at Bob McCready running in 10th, and here comes Brett Hearn on his heels, is that our points leader, as you mentioned earlier, and we all know Danny Johnson retired early. He's going to lose the Skoll points lead, and his brother Alan Johnson, if this continues at this pace here for the final 10 laps, he would move into the top position. Bob McCready and Brett Hearn would be knocking on the door.
A very, very close contest and a tough break for Danny Johnson. As he will watch this one. I'm sure he's not watching. He's probably in his car and on his way back to Rochester. He's not a great race fan.
Yeah, I mean,
well, meanwhile,
I keep saying it, you know, the engineering and the rule bending and stuff, that's what makes motorsports so interesting to me. 'Cause you come up with these awesome, super unique designs. Some work, some don't. But when they work, man, they are beautiful to watch. And that's definitely something we're missing in modern day
running right together.
You know, it comes with trying to keep the costs down, try to keep the sport alive. I know, I've heard about it, but still allowed to miss it.
He's done a great job.
And it's not like there's still not body modifications that are unique and stuff. I mean, Accord Speedway, you go look at what Danny Tyler is doing and Bobby Hackle's doing to their cars. They look pretty different, and sometimes they run well, and sometimes they don't.
Went into the pits, came back out, back of the pack.
There's not Felix Raw looking underneath.
Continues to hold that 8th position, but he's being challenged by Decker.
Yeah, this is not working to Hearn's advantage.
Hold on, boys. I'm getting an error on my end. Let's see what's going on. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth. Okay, I think we're fine. I think we're fine. Oh, I'm dropping frames. That's weird. Is everybody still able to Ooh. Are we still good on your end over there, people watching? It looks like I'm dropping some frames I think I'm coming back up now. That was weird. Okay, are we good now? Or are we back? I'm back in the green. Someone let me know that we're still good. That's the old internet that sometimes just does that. Jamie, Danny, you guys still there? Everything okay? Nope, we're dropping again. I don't know what to do. This is like an internet thing. Pause for a second, but we're good now. I think it's about to pause again. We are literally 10 minutes away. 10 minutes away from the end. Oy. Yep. All right. All right. I think we're good now. I think we're gonna trug along.
Well, now.
All right.
He has enough of advantage over how far back the second place car or whoever's behind them is. Maybe radio communication, they've got an idea, but this thing can change in a heartbeat. And so Hearn won't save it. Nobody will save anything in these races. They're too short and they're too.
I think we are getting a storm
too much money
down in this part.
You see it right there. 5 laps remaining. McCready now
Internet lines.
McCready 9th. Hoffman is 8th, and Hearn
We're back. We're
looking to lap them both.
McCready up on the outside looking for the number 8 spot as he moves by Hoffman.
We have not had a caution since lap 21. Just great high-speed racing here at Rolling Wheels.
A high-speed
it took a while to get going, but
beautiful
looks like once we got through all those cautions,
Day weekend 1997. What more could you ask for? We got caution, the one we've been talking about that hadn't happened.
Oh, it's Johnson.
Oh, goodness. Oh, boy. Alan Johnson with the flat left front. And my, what a shootout this is going to make now down the stretch. Remember, the last 3 laps must be green, and we have 3 laps remaining.
So we'll keep track of the lap counter to see how this thing unfolds. But as we were just telling you that if the race had finished in the way they were running then, a few laps ago, Alan Johnson would have taken the point lead. That's not going to happen now, but we'll let the statisticians tell us how this thing will shake out. Now, Alan Johnson, that's the left front tire, and he can run with that. There's not a lot of pressure on that tire.
Back in the day, they used to use a pipe with the head with chains hanging down. If you get past the chains without touching it, you can run whatever.
Remember, Hensler is not necessarily going to be able to get right up in the back bumper of Brett Hearn.
It's like
there
the old
lap
templates.
Even though
Sounds like NASCAR used to run.
Yeah, the lap cars will go, well, I think the lap cars will go to the bottom, so this will be a shootout. Lap cars go to the bottom, and so Hensler will be able to plant his front.
Old school solutions for old school problems, man. That's awesome.
So that's the deal on Dirt Motorsports, Doug. In the final stages of the race, the lap cars move to the inside or the outside, whichever happens to be the slower lane on the racetrack here at Rolling Wheels, the inside. So the lead cars will all be up on the top, ready to go for a shootout. And as you say, a 3-lap dash for cash, $6,000 in cash.
Did you see what the flat meant to Alan Johnson from a position
if you missed
standpoint?
it earlier, I calculated $$6,000. In 1997, it's $12,000.
He did go a lap
down, but he's
late
staying on the racetrack, and so that's a strategy move there on the part of Jim Bobar, the car owner and crew chief, keeping his driver on the racetrack.
All right, 3-lap dash.
Let's see what happens as Brett Hearn swings now into turn 4. He puts the hammer down. There's Hensler.
Did Hearn use up all his stuff?
Place. The lap cars on the bottom. The cars on the lead lap on the outside. Hearn again pulls away from Hensler. Down into turn 2, then down the back straightaway. Hearn once again reestablishes a cushion for the lead.
Hensler runs a second. Decker is a lap car. In the number 3 spot is Jack Johnson. Bobby Varon is in 4. Joe Plazik is in 5. Jimmy Horton is in 6. And Bob McCready is now up to the number 7 spot.
Gone.
2 laps to go. 95 laps are down. 2 laps to go in this Skoal Super Dirt Series event here at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. Hearn is able to open up some distance on the restart.
We continue to watch Brett Hearn pull away smoothly now into turn 4 and down the front straightaway. The white flag is out from our starter Dave Barney. 1 lap to go. Hetzler is in second. Jack Johnson.
Keep your head on your shoulders now, boys.
As they move on the racetrack. But Brett Hearn looking very smooth down the back straightaway. Hetzler gives it one last gun. There's a look at Bobby Varon battling for position in number 4, but down in turn 4 in the front straightaway comes the Budweiser number 3, and Brett Hearn is the winner of the Bill Trout Lincoln Mercury Easy Care Firecracker 97.
Ooh, someone's out of gas.
Hetzler finishes second.
A scramble on the checker.
I wonder how many more Brett Hearn is going to win through 97. If he's going to keep winning through the 1998 season.
Third, so it's Hearn, Hetzler, then Jack Johnson, the top 3 finishers. We are live at the Fast Track Rolling Wheels Raceway Park. And our race
Surely he
coverage
can't
will
be this good
continue
for
after
this
these
long,
messages
right?
on the Dirt Motorsports Television Network.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
That's cool. That's cool to see some racing action from the Rolling Wheels. Sad I never got to be able to do a video on it.
Have you checked out our official website of
DirtMotorsports.com. I'm going to go to that. Hold on. Let me go to that.
www.dirtmotorsports.com.
DirtMotorsports.com.
Super Dirt Week, 26, October
Site
7th
is
to
not
the 12th.
online.
Tickets now on sale. Sunday reserve, second and third elevation, just $50. Call 315-834-6606 for ticket information. For Brett Hearn, win number 56 on the career score sheet. Let's go down to Victory Lane and Cowboy Paul Small.
Brett, congratulations on the victory tonight. What made you decide to
Let him
choose
get out
the
of the
hard
car.
tires over the soft ones?
Well, about 3 weeks ago, we won a 25-lapper here. We won them on soft tires, and it was just a tick too soft. I knew for the 97-lapper, we'd need hard tires for this track. The humidity came out of the air late this afternoon, so it wasn't much of a gamble, I didn't think.
And how about that battle with Jeff Hetzler? You followed him for quite a while. Were you confident you could get by him, or were you just searching?
You never know. You know, sometimes his car could get better, my car could get worse. You never really know, but we had a heck of a race going on. But once I got in front of him, I could pick the pace up a little bit. I knew we were in good shape, and the car stayed underneath me. Unbelievable. I mean, the only thing I had to really do this race was worry about staying focused and hitting my laps.
Yeah, he's good, man.
The
I mean, the car was fast.
control.
He kept his head on his shoulders. He was smooth.
Congratulations,
You
Brett
can see
Hearn,
why
as he
he's
wins
just one of
another
the
one
sport's
here on
best
Rush
all
Hour.
time.
Here's what's coming up on the dirt circuit. Take a look. We'll see you at a track near you. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, tell it out.
Brewerton, Ransomville, Black Rock, now called Alton, Granby, Mac, Bridgeport, Delaware, Newfoundland. What's Newfoundland? Why do they call it Newfoundland? Land of Legends, Lebanon, Merrittville, Can-Am. What the hell is Frogtown? Cayuga County, Weedsport, Cornwall. Missed that last one. Drumby County, Brewerton. Since we still have 2 minutes left in the
Service
video,
contracts. Top oil engine treatment. Budweiser, the king of beer. Bob Hilbert Sportswear. Midstate Communications. Hoosier Racing Tires. Sunoco A+ Mini Markets. And
really not the music I expected for a 1990s
welcome to the
broadcast.
pros. CarQuest.
Oh, Frogtown is Mohawk. Got it. Why did they call it Frogtown?
Tonight, Jeff Hetzler finishes second. Jack Johnson, Bobby Varon, Joe Plotnick, and Jimmy Horton, the top 6.
Finishing number 7 spot was Bob McCready with 3 breaks. Doug Hoffman, Billy Decker, Steve Butcher, great run. Craig Von Doren and Steve Payne. Last year's winner finished as 12.
Thanks to Tom Kavinsky and Kevin Kovac. We'll see you next week at Brewerton Speedway. It's a production of Dirt Motorsports and a presentation of the
For Dirt Week, the Syracuse 300 is double points. So that is a very, very important race. And as we said, there's $70,000 involved. That double point race could make the difference.
That's cool, man. This was
on a row.
This has been
Now
a
let's
cool,
take a look at the point structure right now
look back
with
into
the way
the
things
past
stand
tonight.
after 12 events on the Skull Bandit Racing Series.
Hearn,
Brett Hearn is your leader. Then it's Bob McCready, Danny Johnson, Jimmy
Steve
Horton,
Payne,
Jack
surprise.
Johnson, and Steve Payne in the first 6.
Alan Johnson is currently 7th. Doug Hoffman has come all the way from 10th to 8th. Last week we showed the graphic. He was 10th. He's the defending champion. Then we got Timmy McCready, Tim Fuller, Billy Decker, and Jeff Hensler struggling. He's at the back of the pack.
And it all leads to the world's richest dirt modified race, the Syracuse 300 at Super Dirt Week. That'll be coming up in October at the New York State Fairgrounds. And there we go, Super Dirt Week 26, October 7th
really
to
cool,
12th.
look back
Tickets
into
are
the
on
past
sale
tonight.
now, but I'll tell you, they are going very, very quickly.
Really
So
cool to
call
just kinda
area code
see.
315-834-6606, and we will
racing
see you
because it's
at
like
Super Dirt Week.
89
Well,
and
2 men
97.
right in the thick of the
I
Series
guess it's a
Championship
decade
here in the
apart.
Skull Series have staged some legendary duels
This
right
video's
here
about
at
to end. I
Canandaigua
don't know what
Speedway,
else
and
to
they're
say.
standing by.
Exactly. All right.
Is gone. Half
Oh,
the
it just
year is
restarts.
over.
Yeah, this has been a really cool look back into the past of racing tonight. Like I said, I picked 2 races from tracks that I've never been to, and they turned out to be pretty good races. We saw a lot of passing for the lead at Syracuse earlier tonight. This one had a really, really good race for the lead between Hetzler and Hearn, and that was God, I wish I could experience those tracks, you know. We gotta make the most of what we have nowadays and just keep supporting our own tracks, our teams, our favorite drivers. Going out and showing up in person is the best way to keep the sport going, man. And hopefully we get another was it 89 to 26 is like, I don't know, 30 years, another 30 years out of it. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. This has been fun. Hopefully you guys, if you guys missed some of it and you want to see the whole thing, it should be available as a video on demand on my YouTube channel in the live stream archives tab. Feel free to check it out. It'll always be there. And next time I go live, if you're watching the VOD, you know, come hang out with us, man. It's been a fun night. I really don't have anything else to say. Subscribe for more. Like the stream if you liked it. Next week, Chili Bowl. I'm excited for that. I don't really have anything planned. The week after that, might do something. Need to play around with some ideas in my head. Really surprised how quick December was. I blinked and the whole month was gone, and the only thing I was able to do was make a thank you video, which, you know, I guess is like the most important thing. But like, I got some other ideas in my head. I also have some recorded stuff already. I need to edit, throw together, and publish. I think that's it, man. I really don't have an outro for these streams. Thank you guys for watching and supporting my channel. This is just, I love the sport. I want to see it grow. If I can have some people stumble upon this stream, these videos, my channel, and get interested. I saw it. I saw it that time. Of course. I don't remember what I was saying. Thank you guys for watching. This is where I'm going to end the stream. That's going to be an issue in the long term. All right, boys.